What up, guys? We are live. So we got a fun ass show for you today. So the main attraction is going to be up. We lost Erudite now. Just
I'm
fixing the
here.
camera. So we got a series of debates. There's a dating coach who was on the speed date who didn't perform so well, and I think he wants to debate me on that. There's a guy who wants to have a discussion with all of us. I think he's some kind of a doctor or something like that. I don't know, or researcher. Point of the story is he uses like big words. So yeah, and then we got also the main event is going to be Greg versus Erudite, i.e. Kyla, and that's going to be happening in the second half of the show. So yeah, this is going to be fun. And then if we have time, we'll open up the panel. So yeah, that's kind of the agenda for tonight. But yeah, cool. How you guys doing?
Doing good. I don't know why this camera is so sensitive to this.
Yeah, I'm doing all right too. Pumped to watch these debates. I think I probably won't be performing in most of them, so I'll moderate if need be. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
You kind of got like the emo look going there, Kevin.
I was gonna say I like the beard. I've been really digging your beard vibes.
Nice.
I know it's probably with the no shave, but
yeah, it's no shave in November, and I don't know. I'm just continuing it, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how much I want it to grow out. The most I've ever grown it out is like 5 months, and then it starts to just get crazy. So,
did you see the comment I left for your video?
No.
You were talking about like Dick Destruction December, so I was like coming up with shit. I was like, that's almost as good as Just Jerk Off January or Fuck Forever February or Mental Masturbation March.
That's
or
great.
Anal April. I was just coming up with like fucking pseudonyms for like all the months.
That's funny, man.
Well, yeah, this is gonna
may or may not destroy my dick. May
or may not destroy my dick. May.
okay.
You guys also I had an idea. Kyler, you know who Annalisa is, right?
Annalisa? I've know of her. I've never spoken to her, but
you never have. I debated her a week ago. It was juicy. But you should debate her too.
On what?
You guys are going to disagree on like a lot of things.
Okay. I've only heard her talk about like black men, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if I'm the best person to weigh in on that topic. So
no, she's quite spicy. She has disagreements with everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I would classify her as like a feminist in a lot of ways, but like we were arguing about the wage gap, yeah, stuff like that. It was a shit show of a debate. Like it was interesting. 4.5 hours. All right, let's bring on the first person, Martin.
Oh, hey, what's up? Thanks for having me.
Sure.
So, you said I'm a doctor. I'm far away from having a PhD. So, I'm currently working on my bachelor's degree in 4 different subjects actually, but as a teaching profession. So basically, I'm going to be a teacher. So it's kind of interesting to hear a lot of opinions about how the youth should be formed in a way, and yeah, that's a lot of. There's a lot to talk about.
You should have just cut to a doctor. Doctor sounds cooler. Okay, Martin. Just ignore what Martin said. He's a doctor. He's the
yeah, I'm a doctor
in wherever country he's from.
I'm from Austria, Vienna right now.
It's
3 a.m. in the morning. I'm really fucking tired. I just came from Bratislava at home. I was there having a nice wellness day, and I was at the gym as well. So it's a long day for me, but I hope I can give some value at the stuff that I know in this. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you mentioned you had a disagreement with Kyla about about whether relationships is best for men. Is that correct?
Yeah, actually, it was pretty hard for me to find some disagreements with Kyla because I think she's very constructive in her arguments and has a lot of like research-based opinions. So I'm the same way basically. So I'm pretty much the way. If you show me research that disproves my opinion, that's like the scientific way on opinion. I will just adapt the new opinion. So if I have the opinion like, I don't know, for example, all the stars are bright yellow and the research shows it's bright blue, then I will adapt my opinion on that. So the one thing, it was really hard for me to look at opinions that are different from Kyla's and mine. And the one thing was that you said in a stream that you think most men, which is, I think you mean by that statistic significance, so most men are happier in a committed relationship. Do you mean by that, first question, do you mean by that monogamous?
Most of the research that I've done that exists is going to be exclusively focused on monogamous. Yes.
Okay.
It's possible, but to be clear, I don't have data about like if polyamorous men are actually way happier than monogamous men, but this seems to be committed long-term relationships in general. Yeah.
Okay, so your opinion is basically so that basically my argument is mostly about monogamy right now, because I've listened to a lot, or I read a lot of research about polyamory and like how people lived before we discovered, or basically religion took over our society, basically Christianity mostly, which leads to another question about happiness. Because in my opinion, and in the research that has shown that most of humanity wasn't monogamous till, as I said, religion started to surface, and it was basically, you have no life to monogamy. Well, that's another question.
I'm just having I'm just engaging with the chat. You guys keep going.
Oh, okay. So yeah, the thing is, there's another question: how people lived before monogamy became the norm, and what actually makes people happy, what happiness is actually. It's a pretty philosophical discussion, and that's one of my studies as well. I study psychology and philosophy, which is one subject we teach in school here in Austria. So they're connected basically. So in my opinion, I don't think any special type of relationship is related to happiness in a way, because I think, and the research on happiness studies, there's a field in German, it's called Glücksforschung. Glück is happiness, basically. That says that doesn't really focus on relationships as well. So the research is kind of biased as well. But most of the research on happiness is very much unrelated to relationships. So I would argue that relationships, or general monogamous relationship, don't have much of an effect on happiness of males and females as well. Would you disagree on that?
Robustly. I'd say there's robust evidence that is false.
So you think that the relationship,
I think long-term relationships, yeah, which dominantly tends to be monogamy. So maybe I'll give you a bit of nuance on my perspective, because I've been fighting a lot against one-sided open relationships for men, mostly because I think the red pill's reasoning for it is stupid, which is basically, well, men want to fuck lots of people and women don't really, and they're different. So that's why, here's the thing, if both parties consent to that, that's fine. Alex's partner, it sounds like Nadia's just down with it. I don't give a fuck. Like, that's the relationship. And if that leads to a long-term, steady, consistent relationship between Nadia and Alex, that's fine. I have no problem with the woman consents into it.
That's what I want the world to think. She's secretly locked up in my basement. She has zero consent or free will. But yeah, for the sake of
and no lunch,
we'll say that she's consenting. Keep going.
The issue is that a lot of men, when they start talking about how they get women to accept this, it seems deeply coercive, and a lot of it is actually like pretty, I would argue, like fundamentally like hateful towards like women, or at least like dismissive of women's needs. And it's essentially men saying like, what I want matters more than like my partner's want. So it's like, if you have a partner who would be pretty unhappy or uncomfortable with the idea of it, then I think that you're being kind of a shitty partner to push it. You should probably look for a partner who's okay with it. If you really want a one-sided open relationship, sure.
Can I pause you for a second? Because I would actually add on your point, because I was not arguing about one-way monogamous relationships. I was just arguing in the concept of monogamy is just one part of relationships. There are like a lot of relationship types as well. And the research shows actually that when we talk about one-way monogamy from the male side, that from the evolutionary standpoint, females or women weren't also made for monogamy as well, because the research has shown that our basically our testicles were made that we can push sperm out of the vagina back. So our sperm has a evolutionary how's it called in English? I'm sorry.
I think you're talking about the head of the penis is shaped in a way to pull out.
Yeah. There's a nice
semen.
documentary about it on Netflix called Explained.
That's not good evidence though for monogamy or polyamory. That's evidence for sexual selection. For example, in most mammals, when you track penile and vaginal tracts, you see kind of this weird trade-off where vaginas are always somewhat developing to somewhat fight off semen, and penises are developing over and over to be better at depositing semen and making sure that their semen is the main semen that enters the vagina. So it's not really evidence of monogamy or polygamy. That's just evidence of sexual selection in general. This is why ducks have like the most complicated dicks ever, and their vaginas are infinitely also complex. The thing that's leading dicks to get more complex is the vaginas getting more complex, because ducks do a lot of rape sex. So that's probably what's leading.
Hashtag make dicks simple again. Go ahead.
Yeah, but the thing is, the thing is, there's also another point against a one-way monogamous relationship, because I think, in my opinion, we shouldn't differentiate moral standards based on male or female. And I think if a man should have the right to have more sexual partners, the women should also have the right to do this. You don't need to act on it, but you should have the right. So I personally would never go into a open relationship where not only I have the freedom to have sex with other partners, with other women, and my girlfriend doesn't. So I would never do that. Maybe I'm like a simp or a cock or whatever, but I just don't think I would have the moral compass. My morality would tell me that's not right.
You're an egalitarian. Like if one gets liberty, then the other gets liberty, and the other gets to choose whether they want the liberty. So you're probably raising the point of polyamorous relationships. I also have no qualms with polyamorous relationships. I don't think they work overall right now, but that's not because polyamory can't work, but because our society doesn't have good scripts for it. I would actually agree
on that.
Yeah. So I don't care what type of relationship people get into. I want to make sure that they're long-term and long-lasting and satisfying for all of the partners now, and that their future selves would be consenting to the relationship, right? So I think when you look historically, a lot of people say, well, historically pre-religion, we always did polyamory. That's not really true. War chiefs did it. Everyone else was mostly monogamous or single. Monogamy is actually mostly the standard, it seems to be, in most human breeding. And the issue is, I don't care. I don't care what your relationship looks like. I want to make sure that it's long-term and long-lasting. It's as healthy as possible, that both partners are consenting, and that it is leading to better outcomes for all individuals involved with it. That's what I mostly care about.
Okay, that research you told about, you mentioned about the mostly monogamous relationships in history. I would like to hear more about that, because I don't know about that research. So
that's not going to be research. That's more like historical data. So what we mostly see when you start like looking into like records of how relationships worked in like really ancient like tribal groups and stuff like that. Again, all of this is going to be somewhat weak because it's historical evidence, which I'm sure if you're familiar with like paleontology and stuff, is like there's lots of gaps.
That's pretty hard to do. It's mostly modern paleontology is mostly about studying groups of tribal people that weren't touched by any modern man, so they can like study what those people did basically.
Wait, let me see if there's actually a disagreement here. So Kyla is not saying that she thinks that everyone should. She agrees with you that people should have the freedom to be in what kind of relationship she wants. She's just saying that she believes, based on the research she's done, that monogamy is overall the most successful type of relationship. Do you disagree with that?
In our culture.
Well, that's hard to say, because I don't have the perfect answer for that, but I think the best way when we talk about happiness, because happy relationships, I don't think there's actually a relationship needed to be happy as well. So I don't think that most men, or half of the men, that's kind of a MGTOW opinion, but not from a black pill side of view, but more of a like, I want to be happy for myself, more like a psychological standpoint. I don't need a relationship for that, in my opinion, or not me personally, but everyone. I think everybody should be happy single or by themselves, and I think it's possible as well. And I don't think a relationship will add to that more. So I would disagree on that men will be happier in a monogamous relationship, because I don't think happiness comes from the relationship itself, and that's from a individual
here's the
psychological
question.
standpoint.
So you take two groups of 100 men. The first 100 men are all single. The second group of men are all in relationships. You don't think one of those groups would be on average happier than the other?
On average, probably. I don't have the research, but probably yes. But I don't think.
Which group do you think would be happier?
It's hard to say. I think that there's not enough context for that. But statistically, in our society right now, I think the guys in a relationship will be happier.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't agree on that. The relationship, in particular, monogamous relationship, is the main factor for that. I think there are a lot of factors that play into that.
Well, it's probably because in many ways, like monogamy is our like substitution for close, intimate, kind of loyal relationships, right? I think if society was structured in a different way, for example, where maybe like, I'd be curious to see a study that compared single married people, so they were married but with no children, versus people who maybe lived in like intergenerational homes. I'd be really curious to see, because I suspect that the intergenerational homes people, assuming that there's some level of like, it's not just like abusive, that those people would actually be more psychologically stable and more well-rounded overall. It seems to be the case that people do better with more relationships. So right now our society probably fails us, and that monogamy is kind of how we like replace our entire circle of people. So yeah, there would be arguments to be made, for example, that like maybe people could be happy without relationships. It just seems to be the case that people tend to do better, have better psychological profiles, or have more well-being the more relationships that they have.
Yeah, so it seems I just Googled, do relationships make people happier? Heaps of research suggests that social connections make people happier. Satisfying relationships not only make people happy, but are also associated with better health and even longer life. Relationships are connected with some of the strongest emotions. When they're positive, we feel fit, blah, blah, blah. So it seems like there's like pretty good amount of research to suggest that.
The thing is, it's based basically on, I need to read, never mind. The research is basically on human interaction. And if we talk about the basic needs pyramid, by Maslow. I don't know if you guys you know about that. The basic needs are right now, everybody needs food, everybody needs shelter or some kind of safety where they can be safe from like the weather or something, and social connection. But I think those social connections don't need to be relationships. And the research has shown that as well. There's like a study about...
tend toward that though, right? Like, it doesn't have to be, but the reality is we have some massive biological imperative to breed and like procreate. And it seems like probably to some degree, our happiness would be contingent on that a bit, but not exclusively. Right. And so it's like, yeah, I made this argument like last week where I was like, I mean, there are monks who find happiness in celibacy, like the idea that you must have a relationship. So I would actually agree with you in that.
Counterpoint for me, because like, those monks I've actually I did actually Shaolin Kung Fu, and those are monks, and to be fair, those people are very social. They talk a lot, and they don't have sex. They don't have much sex, and they don't have relationships in monogamous way.
Those monks are fucking 24/7. I guarantee you. They're hanging out in that cave. They got nothing to do. They're just jerking each other off. Okay, look at this. High rates of happiness. According to a 2015 study conducted in China, more consensual sex and better quality sex increases happiness, more bonding, brain chemicals released during sex. So there's definitely something to like sex definitely makes people happier.
That's true, but I think those points are those can be substituted as well. So in my opinion, happiness doesn't come from relationships in general. I think the mostly I've written down actually. So basically, there was a study about different jobs, and they studied how those jobs factored in happiness. And the most happiest people were actually farmers or gardeners, and the basic conclusion was that to be happy, you need some kind of physical exercise. Sex is physical exercise. You need some kind of creative freedom. If you're a gardener, you can basically form a creative freedom and build something. You need to have long-lasting goals. If you build a garden or a farm, you can see how it grows, how those things change. and what was the last thing? Yeah, and you did I say physical exercise?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And a routine. And a routine.
You have two. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I just don't think we actually disagree. I'm not sure that there's a disagreement here, because last week I was arguing that people can find happiness outside of like intimate partner relationships, but I'm realistic that most people just want that, and it seems to be the case that having intimate partner relationships that in our society tend to be monogamous leads to better outcomes for basically everyone. They tend to live longer, they do less crime, they're less antisocial in general, right? It's actually one of the best predictors. If you want to stop a young man from doing crime, like in jail, one of the best things we can do is get him hitched. Like if he can find a girl, he's not going to do crime anymore.
That's true. That's true. So, but my basic point was, and we agree on that happiness, or so man can be happy. They don't need to be in a relationship. Basically, you can substitute all of the things that the relationship gives to him with other things. So that was my point. That
of course, it's just more
actually the disagreement was only in that we need a monogamous relationship for a significant part of man to be happy, but that was basically also, we agreed on that basically. So we changed a little bit the sentence that I wrote down, what your statement was, so we both agree on it. And that's what I love about discussions. We both exchange arguments, we both kind of go closer to the truth. So that was my point basically on that statement.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, for sure, dude. All right, bro. Wish you the best.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a nice evening. Or anything you want to say before you bounce?
Not really, but I'd like to listen to the stream more and maybe hop back on if I disagree on another thing.
Sure. So, yeah, for sure, dude. All right, buddy. Have a good one.
Bye. Have a nice evening.
Yeah, I sense there was like not too much disagreement there. It was like kind of like semantics.
He's too reasonable.
I know. Well, don't worry.
People want blood.
We're going to find some unreasonable people. Maybe BMAC will be one of them. Hello.
I'm not an unreasonable guy. I'm a good guy.
God damn it. Fuck.
Look at that winning smile.
Oh, thank you so very much. Hello, everyone. Hope y'all been enjoying your evening.
How you doing?
As I was talking to Alex earlier, I'm a relatively new, I don't even call myself a relationship coach. I call myself a GPS, which will basically guide them to the direction of where they want to go. If they want to be in a committed relationship, or if they want to have girls or just hook up, I'm their guide to get there. And I specialize in all guys, but specifically guys that on paper, they're not wanted. They're the guys that are not 6 feet tall. They don't have over $100,000 more, the most built, they have the most money. I mainly represent those guys because I'm one of them myself. I'm 5'8", and I've experienced the whole aspect of it. And I do more 100% field work. That's the Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off, start from the beginning, start where it hurts the most, and then you gain from that. That's what I specialize in.
Okay, got it. So what was the disagreement you had like with me or anyone?
Well, and it's not, anything that I say is not to disrespect any of your teachings or what you give to other people. Which is, I feel that the speed dating realm is very, very commercial. And the reason is because, for one, it's almost like a reality TV show. If you are in front of camera, you're not going to be the most authentic. You're not going to be yourself. And especially if you have a brand or there's something that you're trying to portray, it's not going to be organic. And so things can come across to be weird, to be creepy online and on a speeding date versus in person. That's why I never promote online dating, because it's very, very commercial. It's not organic. You don't see the body language.
Commercial? You mean like what? Like there's money being made? Like what's the commercial aspect?
No, I mean that by that it's very, very fabricated. It's not real. What you do in real life is you can't necessarily do on a speed date. What you do on a speed date, you can't necessarily do in real time. So
Yeah, it's not a perfect overlap, but there's a good amount of overlap. Typically, guys who are good in real life will be good on speed dates, and vice versa. Guys who suck in real life will suck on speed dates. If you look at, like, for example, my speed date performances and then my infield, there's really not a substantial difference in terms of how I do, how I perform. That's the case for a lot of people. There are some exceptions. There are some people who I think are pretty decent in real life and they underperform in speed dates. But overall, there's a lot of things like your verbals, your vibing, your tonality, your body language that is still getting through. The only thing that's not getting through is you can't actually touch the girl and you have limited time. So it's not a perfect overlap, but it's pretty good. But if you have like a better way of doing this, like a better alternative, I'm open to hearing it.
Yeah, because most times it's always where you say, well, you have to, do it a certain way or do it, like this, like more sexual tension. But again, online, it makes it very, very difficult because, like I said, I'm a master at doing it out on the field.
Are you?
I started off really, really bad, where I didn't know how to talk to girls. I was a nerd in that type of situation. And then, as I said, I did the work and I was able to just learn the game through that. And I understand the whole I'm very huge when it comes to psychology. But if you're talking to someone online, such as we're doing right now, you don't really know me. You can't really sense anything about me.
I can sense a good amount of things, yeah.
Well, as an example, if someone were to, because I remember there was one where they said, you're a creeper. Anyone who knows me and knows anything about me, and if I'm having a conversation with a female in person, I would never get those vibes because it's a different dynamic. A lot of things, as I said, what you can't do in person that you can do on these speeding dates, if I were to go up to a girl and if I can sense that she's not feeling me, you would know that.
Okay, let's get to the bottom of this. Do you have infield? Do you have a video of you talking to girls in real life that we can analyze?
I can do you one better. I can show you. I can be live when that happens. If we can do that on a different time, that's fine. But I am not afraid to do any content that shows what I can do. And I love it how most people doubt me because they don't know the type of person that I am. But I will give.
No disrespect at all. You seem like a nice guy. I just absolutely do not believe that you're a master in real life. I think you might be intermediate at best. I've never. There's just no way you can have.
And that's understandable because you don't know who I am.
Right, but I mean, like, yeah, you can change my mind. Like, if you show me some video of you like macking on a girl and you do really, really well, then I'll be open to changing my perspective. But I'm going off the data I have, which is your speed date performance and just kind of the vibe I get from you. And yeah, like I refuse to believe that you have a good game unless.
Can I ask you one? Let me ask you something, Alex. You said you refuse to believe that I have a good game in person because of what you've seen on a speed date. That's what you said, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you put the emphasis on that within the speed date because if I'm having a conversation with a girl on there and she feels that I'm creepy, in your mindset, then you're gonna say that I'm creepy. I don't teach it. I teach, first of all, it's like I said, it's all psychological. I start from the basics in which most guys would need to clear their cache. Are you familiar with clearing your cache?
Explain it to me.
So I don't know, like if you have an Amazon Fire Stick, if you have a computer that's overloaded with files, the first lesson that I teach is you need to clear these files. Everything that you've been taught about attracting women and all the stuff that you've been learned about what to do is exactly what you're not supposed to do. And that's one of the hardest steps that guys can't do. They can't clear their minds as to what to do. As an example, we're raised in society where men are supposed to open up the doors for the woman. You're supposed to treat a woman right. You're supposed to do all these things to women, and to where it makes us treat women as if they're kings, and then it puts you in a position.
I get all that.
Right. So let me just say one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
On speeding dates, this is why it doesn't work, especially if you have female coaches. They don't look at you as if you are someone that's on their status or on their level. they look at you as someone that they're trying to teach. So they automatically lose.
On that one, there was no female coaches. Malik is not a coach. She's just
not her, but I only did 2 that you've done. I think her name is Adina or something with someone that you just recently had. I guess she's a dating coach. And I even have questions about, not knocking her or anything like that, but I do question women that are dating coaches because they've never been on the other side of the fence to understand on a man's perspective what it entails.
I get all that. Let me explain to you why I don't think you're good. I don't remember your first performance, so I can't comment on that. But the second one, it wasn't just the fact that you totally bombed. And I'm not going off what the girl said. I was analyzing it myself. There are times when I disagree with what the girl says. Like the girl will be like, yeah, I don't think you did well. And I'll be like, wait, what are you talking about? I think you did well. So I do have sometimes disagreements with the girls. This was just not one of them. But not only did you do really badly, but the second of all, you seem to completely lack self-awareness. And instead of being like, yeah, you know what? I fucking bombed. This is my first time doing this. Which at that point I could be like, okay, maybe he just had a one-off performance. You were like in full-on denial about it. And you said like, no, I didn't think I came off creepy. So that to me suggests that you completely lack self-awareness. For those 2 reasons, I severely do not believe that you're good at all. Like,
can I say this? Can I ask this question? Will you say the same thing to the woman? Because that same girl, like I said, like maybe the same speeding date before that, she nailed one of your clients. She went ham on him when he kept his composure the whole time. Are you at that point then letting her know, hey, well, you're not a good speed dater?
Yes and no. I mean, like, that's the whole point, is that we're teaching guys how to seduce girls. We're not teaching the girls how to seduce guys. So it's kind of besides the point.
But that's why I say they're at a disadvantage.
Let me finish. I tell the girls when they're coming on to just be themselves. It's basically the guidance I give them. But yeah, if the girl is like being ultra bitchy, I'll talk to her afterwards and be like, hey, you know, you don't have to like go that far. You can chill out with that. But at the end of the day, we're giving guys advice on how to seduce girls. We're not giving girls advice on how to seduce guys. If that was the case, if we're doing the latter, then yeah, I would definitely be giving girls feedback. But that's not like the girls don't come on for feedback. They come on to basically be a prop so the guys can practice and improve their skills.
But the difference is a girl that you see in person versus a girl that you have on a speed date. They automatically look at them as they're not on their level. They look at them as someone that is under them, that is learning. Versus if you're straight up, she doesn't know you, you don't know her, and you can have the conversation with her. But here, her mindset is that unless a guy says, oh, I'm friends with you, Alex, or I have my own podcast, to put their status up to where she's looking at them like, okay, then you're on my level. In which
I think that's an excuse. I've gone on.
Hold on, let me just. Okay, and which most guys will say that because that's all you really have within the speed date time frame. So you want to make yourself at least on her level or higher. But if it's how it is, where on these speed dates they already know that these guys needs help, then they're not gonna basically respect them into the matter of, oh, it's a legitimate speed date. And one last thing. A lot of them, and I get it, they crack jokes and say whatever, but it's because they don't know that what they're doing is wrong. And my students, they've already been excelling within a matter of like 3 weeks. And I'm talking about whatever it is that they want. One of my students has already been making out with a girl and she was hot. He went ahead and had a conversation where he started off the conversation, went from all the steps that I have, and next thing you know, he has multiple options of females. So, like I said, it's not easy, but I guide them.
Would you say that there's any utility in the speed dates at all, or do you think it's just like complete horseshit?
I think it's so there's always an audience for something. So I think for speed dating, it's for guys that they have no experience whatsoever, and this at least gives them an opportunity to speak to girls. So then there is value. There is value to doing that. But I think it only gets you but so far. I think and that's why I say it's commercial, because it doesn't necessarily work. What you say to these girls where they say, yeah.
Let me respond, bro, because you're going on a massive monologue. Wait, hang on.
What you say to a girl, like, oh, I'll go on a second speed date with you. You cannot do that in real life. And in real life, that's what really matters. You can't hide behind the computer. You can't hide behind the phone. At the end of the day, you're going to have to know how to talk to her in person. And if you don't know how to do that, you're screwed.
Okay, so what would you say the difference is?
Kevin, let me just get this thing in because directly related to what you said. I'll tell you.
Go ahead.
Okay, so you said that you cannot perform well because the girl is in in the prize frame, whatever, because you're like the student, you're learning. Okay, I believe that's firmly cope. I've gone in other people's shows and done speed dates where people had no idea who I was, and I always performed pretty well. I've been on 2 shows, not my show. The girl had no idea anything about me, and I still perform pretty much as well as I perform when on my own show. So there's no difference in my performance. So I think that is just an excuse. I don't think that's a legitimate reason. If that was true, then everyone would be bombing these speed dates, but that's not the case. There are guys who are consistently performing well, and they're not friends of mine. They're just people who come on the show. So, and I've also performed well when I go on other people's shows. So, no, I just fundamentally reject that logic.
So you're telling me that speed dates equals real-time reality. This is what would happen.
No, I don't think it's a perfect overlap, but I think it's a fairly significant overlap. Meaning, if a guy's really good at speed dates, he's probably going to do pretty good in real life, and vice versa. And if a guy sucks in speed dates, he's probably going to suck in real life.
That's what I disagree with you on, because I'm a master in real life.
Okay, you keep saying that you're a master. What does that mean exactly?
It means that you would be surprised. Let's say if me and you were out. I only have 2 exceptions. One exception being is if a woman is married and if she's like lesbian or gay or that type of thing, because I'm not changing a person's sexual preference. But for the most part, I would say pick any girl here, and I would be able to talk to her. I would be able to get her number. Most likely there's been times I've been able to hook up with them. And that's basically how it is. My students meet me out on the field. They see me, I talk to them, and everything that I say that I'll do it, and they'll see that I'm not lying, I'm not capping. So then they're like, wow, I can't believe that you've done that. And again, on paper, I'm not what you would assume because I'm so short. And even right now,
first of all, you're not that short. You're basically average height. Second of all, can you provide any kind of proof for your claim that you're a master? Like, I can provide millions of, like countless videos, screenshots. What kind of proof can you provide right now?
As of right now, I can't provide any proof. And you can just say, oh, it's all talk. But as I told you, I will provide proof because I started this in about August. And then, so I was able to have 2 students. I got 3 as of right now, but I ended up getting an injury where I tore my Achilles tendon. But I still go out into the field with my students, even though I have a scooter on, and I'm still getting girls on a scooter.
But you don't have a single photo
scooter
of
maxing
with girls?
Scooter maxing. There you go.
But you don't have a single photo or video of you with girls?
Well, I mean, if I'm going out to a club, it's kind of creepy to go and have your phone on her and like, hey, oh my God.
But like if you have like a girlfriend or you're doing shit with a girl, like you take pictures sometimes. Like, yeah, people take photos.
I'm going to get that situated. So we can, if we want to reconvene, and I'll show that to you, because I get it. You know, you don't know, so you'd have to see what I do, and I would definitely get that information for you. But everything that I'm saying to you is 100% facts, and if anyone that knows me knows that I can make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, not to be a dick, but I really, really doubt that. But hey, if you want to come back with like a video of you picking up girls, like you want to show like a video and you do really well, I'm open to changing my perspectives. Yeah, so if you could show me some kind of proof, but I can be like, I'm the best chess player ever. Okay, Alex. Well, have you been in any tournaments? Nah, but everyone who knows me knows I'm the best. Okay, so just like saying something doesn't make it true.
Of course, it doesn't make it true. And like I said, online, you have to show that. I'm more so just in person. I know it's like, oh, well, we don't know that. And I get all that. So I'll show the proof to show you that everything that I'm saying is legitimate. And,
can you like spit your best game at Kyla right now? Like, if you're a master, you should be able to at least somewhat seduce her.
As I said to you, first of all, I'm sorry, what's her name?
Kyla.
Hyla? Pleasure to meet you, Hyla. I already know that it's already disadvantaged because you're married, right?
Yes, that's true.
So if I were to try to talk to you legitimately, we already know that that's not going to work. So why put myself in a position where I'm going to fail when
Well, I don't think flirting is like me and my husband both have the rule that flirting is like handshakes. I don't care if he flirts with women. I don't care. He doesn't care if I flirt with men. We just don't.
Yeah, how hard is it to flirt with Kyla? Like, look,
go
just make
beyond
fun
that.
of her having that big ass plant. Like, what are you gonna do with that plant, Kyla?
I know how to flirt.
Tomatoes. There we go.
I have a blue tongue. You can make fun of my blue tongue.
I know how to flirt very well. Oh, you want me to flirt? You want me to?
Yeah, I'd like to see some kind of proof. I mean, otherwise, I feel like this would be really anticlimactic.
Okay.
Here, guys. Okay, here's the chat.
You look so beautiful talking in that microphone.
Thank you. I try hard. It is a very nice microphone that I have.
The lighting. What is the lighting, Chris? What's the lighting that you have in here? What is it called? Q lights. Is that Q lighting?
I don't think so. I think it's called Kutu Spawn.
Spawn lighting, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, like I said, if a woman, like I said, online, it's just not organic. And I'm sure, Kevin Wilder, what are your thoughts on that? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me?
I look at it as sort of like a simulation or like practice. So just because anybody who's played, I guess, sports competitively or at any point in your life, you probably understand the concept of a practice player or like a practice superstar, right? Or gym class hero, somebody who doesn't necessarily perform well in games, but they perform very well in practice, right? But I think that's definitely possible, but that doesn't necessarily mean that practice is stupid, right? It still helps you develop certain skills to help carry over. And there is a strong correlation between people who do well in practice and also do well in real life, So, Alex is a perfect example. I know people think my speed dates that I've done are cringe, but technically I'm undefeated in them, and I think I've done pretty well.
Yeah, Kevin always does. He might not like completely crush it, but he always does decent. I've never seen him bomb.
Right.
Yeah. Well. Anyway, that's besides the point. Let's just say that I do bomb. It doesn't matter, right? If we're let's just use another example of some of the other guys that go on speed dates. Some of them do well in that do end up doing well in their dating lives as well. Or if they're not, I think it'll help to improve them. So I don't really buy this whole, because people like yourself or Coach White will say like, oh well, this is good for beginners. Who do you think are the people that are watching and participating in this stuff? It's guys that need help in their dating lives. So yes, it's for beginners, but it helps them get better.
I look at it like when you're saying that it's like playing a game, like let's say basketball, right? I feel like what the speed dating does is like they're playing basketball with like, I don't know, with like a soccer ball or with like a different type of ball. It's not really what it really is. The ultimate practice, the best practice is to be out in the field where it's actually happening. Because again,
I don't think any of us are arguing against that. I don't think any of us are arguing against that. I'm sure Alex would agree too that like as effective as the speed dates are, is it better to go out and do a bunch of cold approaches and go on real dates compared to the speed dates? Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the speed dates are worthless. And to use your example, if I can throw you a soccer ball and you can drain it every time, do you think that maybe that person will probably be good at draining a basketball too?
You said if you can throw me a soccer ball and I drain it, could someone else do the same thing too? Basically,
no. The same guy. So let's say that I throw you a soccer ball. I'm just using your analogy here, your thought experiment, and you were draining it every time, right? You were going like full Steph Curry. And then I hand you a basketball. Do you think there's a strong chance that you'll also drain a lot of the shots with the basketball too?
I think it's 50-50.
What?
And the reason why I say that is because it's a heavier ball. It's a more bouncier ball. And you're used to shooting soccer balls, which is a certain way. It's not as heavy. And you could be killing. But now that you got a basketball and things are for real, you may not make that shot. But if you shoot the ball and practice with the basketball, because you don't see the Steph Currys, the Klay Thompsons of the world shooting balls with soccer balls, because it doesn't really help their game, their shot. You have to shoot with what is. You have to go out in the field and you have to holler at the girls and talk to the girls, because otherwise it's not, if it's not something that's going to fully benefit, why do it at all? It's
okay. So what if there's like a particular part of your game that you need to work on, where you need a lot more volume in it in order to get better?
We
right?
all
So maybe just like your vocal tonality or being able to make jokes or being able to be comfortable in the moment. It's a lot harder to do that when you're just like, oh, well, you just have to go on these like 1 to 2 hour dates rather than you can compress it within a short time frame, do a bunch of speed dates.
Like I said, it's really technically, I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I do understand the dynamics of speed datings, and I do see, in a sense, how it helps, because it basically shows people that aren't experienced at all on how to get girls. At least you're having a conversation with a female, you know? So, I mean, but at the same time, it doesn't do anything psychological to your mind. I'm all about psychology. I'm all about clearing your cache. And I have the mindset, like when I tell my students, because sometimes I go there with them out in the field, and I let them know whatever you say is dope. Now, after, even if it was stupid, I'll let you know that was dumb, that was stupid. But during the time that it's happening, whatever you said was dope, because confidence comes out with whatever you're saying is dope.
No, it does.
Hold on,
Sorry.
Time out.
Okay.
Hold on, Kevin.
Go
Hold on.
ahead, go ahead.
I just sat here and listened to the whole 5 minutes and you say a whole lot of nothing. What does that actually mean? Any of what you said, bro? It seems like right now, even how you're talking, B-Mac, you don't even have confidence in what you're saying. You say that's dope. What kind of students do you have? Like what? So what kind of like what are you doing here? It seems like you coming up here based off of what you said, putting on a big cap, and when you have the opportunity to back it up, we had a piece of what you were able to do, and it wasn't it, bro. I like how your voice sound through the microphone, bruh. Stop capping to these people. We know what you're trying to do here. What coaching program? What are you trying to sell? I just sat here and listened to you say a whole lot of nothing, bruh. That's
okay.
dope.
You done? Are you done?
No, yeah. Continue.
Okay. I've heard kind of your conversations, and I mean, you're a joke. You say I'm a joke. You're a joke. Like, you don't even seem like you're sober most of the times.
Because I'm not. I'm high as fuck.
Oh.
I ain't too high to realize when somebody's trying to bullshit, nigga.
You're not gonna let me finish talking? You're gonna talk over me?
No, I'm just letting you know. I'm high as fuck right now, bro. Can you tell?
All right, go ahead, B-Mac. You can finish.
No, I've heard him, and sometimes, and I always understand that people don't like the truth. They don't like facts. I'm simply saying that I know what to do when it comes to being out in the field, and you're getting offended by what I'm saying of what
I'm not offended.
Why are you cutting me off then if you're not offended?
I'm just clarifying. I'm not offended.
You say what you said, then you want to cut me off. And so what if you want?
Don't play that shit with me, bro. We're having a conversation here. You saying I'm being offended? I'm letting you know I'm not offended, Brody. All right, so continue with your message.
Okay. So
how do you differ from all these situations that you're talking about out here? Because you're talking. Okay, let me let you continue. Go ahead.
Okay, so how I differ from other coaches or that type of situation, most guys that are coaches and that type of thing, they're already successful, or they're 6 feet this, or they're this, that, and the other, and I've heard you even say this, where you try to use the fact that Alex as a benefit for you. And that does work in a sense, like status beats anything. So if there was a guy that looks like The Rock, he's not The Rock, but he looks like The Rock, and then there's Kevin Hart, most women are going to pick Kevin Hart because of the status. So you're using that. I know Alex, as I'm not the regular speed dating type of guy. I know him, so now you can do that. But then all the other stuff that you say is
whoa. Are you trying to say? Well, first of all, hold on. When have you ever heard me say anything with Alex status wise, and what does that have to do with how your dating style is different from what's out here? And this is what I'm talking about. You just sat here and said nothing, bro. In fact, you're trying to turn around talking about just because you have a status, because Alex and my style, he doesn't really know me. I know what you're trying to say, bro. You're probably say, oh, yeah, well, my speed dating kind of sucks because, I don't know these people, and these just because of my Duke's association with Alex, he's probably going to do better. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's cap. We just saw you on display to try to rizz up a girl right now, and you just bombed. Like you when it come to shove, you can't do it, bruh. And you still up here telling people over here a whole bunch of nothing. You see what I'm saying? It's people like you that come up here and try to pretend that you have all this knowledge to dupe a bunch of guys to buy into your bullshit. I want to know. I want to see the receipts on your coaching program. I want to see the success rates. Matter of fact, did you just say 5 minutes ago you don't have receipts to display? How is it that you a dating coach and you don't even have receipts to display? What are you trying to sell?
So that's how you know you're triggered, because you're the one that's like Dana yelling right now. Everyone else, whether I was talking to Alex, or I was talking to the gentleman right here and the woman, they've been relatively calm. But no, you came a little, oh my God.
I know bullshit.
Oh my God.
Listen,
you've
because
been
I
on,
know bullshit
you've
when
been
I
on
see
a
one.
10,
I know a
me off.
bamboozle when
Go
I
ahead, say
see
what you gotta
one.
say, bro.
That's why I come in. I get it off my chest, player. What are you talking about? You over here trying to act like you a dating coach. You got students and shit. The fuck you teaching them? I just saw you bomb. I've seen your other dating dating shows too, and whatever segments you've done, and it's horrible, bruh. You got mad trigger when you was on a date with Eden and that one other girl.
I live in LA, right? I live in
LA. Should be
Hold on, let me finish
better.
one thing. Are you willing to put money on it that you can get more girls than me? If you're talking bad about me, hold on. You're saying to me basically that the stuff that I'm saying is whack and I'm a lie and all this other stuff. Are you willing to put your money where your mouth is? Do you think
name a time and place
that you would be able to get more females to me, more than me? We go out on the field. You think you got me? You think those muscles are gonna help you? You think those muscles are gonna help you?
Name a fucking time and place, and I'm there, player.
Okay.
It's you. Make a call, dog. I want to.
Alex, you're a witness. Everybody is a witness right now. I'm gonna embarrass you, bro.
I would.
You're not even. You're not. It's not even gonna be close. I can get more girls than you on a scooter, and I'm on a scooter right now. Okay. I will pimp way more hoes than you on a scooter, bro.
Scooter
All right, let's set this up. I want to see.
Wait. Can we invite Coach Whitepill and he can show up in his banana
hell
suit?
No.
Banana maxing versus scooter maxing.
I heard about Whitepill. Whitepill be talking a lot of smack.
Hell no.
Okay, so let's lock in the logistics, because I think everyone wants to see this happen.
Name a time and place.
Let's lock in the logistics.
I live in Los Angeles. Where do you live at?
I fly down there every other year, bro. I go to LA. That's not a big problem, bro. Matter of fact, my homies out there in Rancho Cucamonga. That's not far from where y'all ass at. So if you want to name a time and place, if we're trying to do summer, we're trying to do
How about New Year? You can come out here in New Year's?
I'll set it up.
Okay. I hope you don't take though, because most people, they don't want to compete with me.
Who is most people? You still haven't produced receipts on the bro. Let me see the girls you fucking with.
You're gonna be my receipt. You're gonna be like, bro, this dude is a freaking beast, and I plead the fifth. He embarrassed me, and I realized it, and that's what's gonna happen. You're not gonna say nothing after you realize I beat the brakes off you and pimp every chick.
Okay, we'll see about that. Why don't you guys both come out to Miami? Because I live in Miami and I could document the whole thing.
Alex, I'm in a scooter right now, bro.
Hey, let's go to Miami.
Alex, I'm in a scooter right now.
What you mean a scooter, bro?
How long are you in the scooter for?
So I should be in a boot by the beginning of the year, and I'm telling you, I would still get him, even though I'm in a boot. But after about a month after that, I say by February, I should be back to normal walking.
You know that you a whole embarrassment, bro. Just.
And I expect you to say something like that. I expect you to say something like that, because you're not experienced. And I'm the type of person where I don't have to lie about. I already know what I've done, and I have students that pay me, and the reason why I have that is because they've seen what I've done. So I don't have a reason.
I have a really important question. So BMAC, so like, let's just assume we believe you. Like, what is it about what you do that makes you like the master, as you say?
Okay, so it's all about psychology of the whole scenario. Like, first of all, one of the main steps of what I tell people, in which this gentleman, he needs to know this, is that you need to clear your cachet. Everything that you've been programmed to learn about
we have that part.
is
That's a bit too abstract.
Hold on.
I'm answering his question. I'm answering his question.
He means cash. He means cash. He's saying cash.
What does clearing your cash? No. What does clearing your cash mean? Can you break that down? Because you are too. You're too ambiguous, bro. Like what? No.
I'm not. I said this earlier, but I'll say it again for you.
What does that mean?
That means that if you have, let's say, a computer that you have that's overloaded with files, or let's say like a Fire Stick, or it's overloaded with files.
Well, how does that translate to your student?
Let me give you the answer to what I'm trying to tell you first. If you have a scenario where it's a computer is clearing your cache means to delete the files. So that means everything that you've been programmed to believe about relationships and connecting with females and what to say to females is delete that, because the stuff doesn't work, and females don't even want you when you're that way.
No, we get that, but like, what do you replace?
You got to do that. That's the first step. That's the first step that I have. I have a total of 10 steps and 1 introduction to who I am, and that's the first step: clearing your cache.
Okay, we got it. So once you clear the cache, what do you do next?
What is your?
That's what we're asking.
What are you installing or uploading to your clients?
Okay, so let me pull. You want me to pull up what I tell them? I'll give you the guide.
Why you make it brief, please? You don't need to pull it up. Can you just make it brief? Just give us the TLDR, please.
I want to give you the right information since you're asking for it.
So you don't have it like memorized?
I'm loving this. I am loving every bit of this. I am. This is great.
Well, why do you not have it memorized? I have everything I'm going to teach students memorized right off the bat.
Information, Alex.
No. Confidential information. You telling them delete everything that you ever known about dating. Okay, let's assume they're coming from a blue.
There's like nothing confidential
ideology for that, right? How you gonna help them instill confidence? How are you even gonna help them on reading body language? How you all these different things where you're supposed to even be getting in the nitty gritty? You haven't said shit. You over here being so abstract, ambiguous. Oh, you gotta delete the cache. All right. When you delete the cache, then make sure you go ahead and clear your browsing history. All right. All that Pornhub X videos, you gotta delete that. Okay. And then next thing, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? Just admit that you don't know. And you're just trying to act like you do. You over here sitting in a whole booth talking about you got students paying you for what? For what, bro? You trying to make money off of this shit. Listen, if you actually knew what the fuck you were talking about, this wouldn't even be the case, right? And it'd be like, hey, go on, brother. Go ahead and make your money, bro. Go ahead and try to recruit new clients. But I just sat here and heard a whole bunch of nothing come out of your mouth. And the shit that did come out of your mouth was nothing, bro. Garbage. So what that tells me is you have this crew of people that you're training, and you can't even prove it yourself, and you're trying to influence other people over here. I can't stand for that, bro, because you capping right now and you know it.
So I just want to hear what the other 9 steps are, but like not in like a long, drawn out fashion, not a tangent, just like a quick.
You said all that. Version. Can I respond? I expect most people to respond the way that you did. And what's very funny is that you've never even seen me out on the field. You don't even know me, right?
We're gonna see it. We're gonna see in Miami, right?
Let me just say this. You don't even know me, right? So you're gonna come out here and you're gonna place a bet on someone and that you don't know. Do you think that's obviously you don't think, because you're always high or drunk or whatever it is, you're not even focused on what to say.
Hey, bro, look, hey.
I'm trying to say, if you don't know someone, why put out a bet on something in which you don't fully know if you can win or not? If you fully knew,
well, that's kind of how betting works.
It's not even a bet for me.
Decision, but you don't know what you're doing and you don't know who you're talking to.
Can I answer that? It's because I just heard everything that came out of your mouth, and that right there tell me everything I needed to know. I don't even need to know your background, your past history, to know that this bullshit spilling from your mouth is what I'm trying to say. So the fact that I know this, all right, I am willing to have that edge in whooping your ass in wherever you want to go. So are we doing it LA or is it Miami? What are we doing, bro? I'll meet you anywhere. I want to see this. I want to see this. I want to see this ass spanking. I want to see this.
All right, you guys are going to meet up in LA and do the competition, but I want to really quickly hear the other 9 steps, but I want the TLDR version.
We need a median.
Okay, I'm gonna manage this. Listen. I'm only going to give you one more step.
Oh, Jesus.
Now, anything else, you're going to have to pay for that. I'm gonna give you one more step.
Oh my god, bro! This is like, see, like this. It's
Bro,
when you say things,
why even waste my
it's
time?
when you say things
Why
like
even waste
that,
my time?
where I'm just like
Stir fry.
more and more convinced that you're full of shit.
This
Why,
is
Alex?
like, you, Alex.
Confidential
This stuff
information,
I'm gonna give you is really, really deep. This is good information right now.
bro.
All right, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Okay.
So cringe.
I'm going to tell you what I created, which is called the 4-look system. This is what I teach my clients. So the 4 looks system is, let's say if you walk into a bar, a club, whatever the circumstances is, there's 4 looks that you have of attraction that where you got to make your approach. Now, let's say if you're in a spot, you happen to lock eyes with the girl the first time. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. You look at her for the first time, bam, she just could have noticed that you just arrived. Anyone can look at someone, that's nothing. Then there's the second look. If you happen to lock eyes with her again, she's basically saying to you that I find you attractive, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you can get with her. She may have another boyfriend, she may have this, that, and the other, or just may not be attracted to you like that. I mean, may not want you, but she's at least attracted to you. Otherwise, she wouldn't look at you twice. And if she looks at you the third time, that means she finds you attractive and she wants you to come talk to her. And at that very point, I would say, hey, go talk to her on the third approach, because she's letting you know that. Now, at the point when it's the 4th look, if you haven't talked to her already, now you're starting to run out of time. So you need to start making a move now. If you want to go talk to her, do it right now, because in her mind, she's going to be thinking, oh, he's either not interested in me, or he doesn't want to talk to me, or he's just darn plain out scared to talk to me, and then the attraction is going to be gone. So they tell you all this stuff without even telling you all this stuff. And that's why I always say on my 4th step, your eyes does a lot of talking.
So basically, when a girl looks at you, approach her, and eye contact is important. I mean, yeah, dude, like no fucking
It's
shit.
very important.
What if she thinks you're creepy after the third eye look? Like sometimes when I like make a couple of eye contact after the third time, I'm like, fuck, I really don't want this guy to come talk to me, and I keep glancing over to see if he's still staring.
What if she
you
just stares at you?
Look at you more than once. If they see you there and they see that you're looking at them, they're not going to look at you again, because they know that you saw them, and they won't look at you. They're expressing, I don't want you to talk to me. Most girls will do that. If you look back at them, then there's something about you that's intriguing you to them.
Okay.
So what if you just show up in a
this.
scooter? If you show up in a scooter and she stares at you, what does that mean?
Hey, that means you gotta wait for the 11th look.
All right. What choosing signal is that?
When she looks
I like
at
that.
you
I like that guy. I like
all
you.
right.
I like you.
And then you got. It might not be it, because she might just look at that and say,
You will be
I don't
so
like this.
surprised
And
what I do on this
and then
scooter.
after
Oh
the
my
12th
God, you
look,
would be surprised.
You gotta wait after
B-Mac,
20 look,
what
okay?
is your lay count?
Huh?
What is your lay count?
What is my who?
Lay count. How many girls have you had sex with?
Ah, man. You gonna ask me mathematics?
Like,
I don't know. It's pretty up there.
like,
It's definitely is, and it's not even. It's not something to brag about. It's just experience. So I would say maybe in the 300 range.
Okay. I do not believe that at all, but okay.
I mean, so then why'd you ask the question?
I wanted to see how much you were gonna lie. I want to see if you're gonna be honest.
So, okay, so then technically I lose, because if you're gonna ask me a question that you think I'm wrong, I lose either way. I'm just everything that I said to you today.
No,
Has
if you said like 5 or 10, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I can see that.
But that's not how much girls I've had sex with. You asked me a question, I gave you the answer. Whether you want to believe it or not, I'm giving you the answer.
This is the part that I'm confused about. You've had sex with 300 girls, but you're saying you don't have a single photo of you with a girl? Like, how's that even possible?
Yes, I have photos with me and girls, but so you want me to? Can you even do that legally? Put her consent with me with that? I don't even know if I can even do that.
Yeah, just blur out her face, bro.
I'm not gonna. Okay. Okay, Alex, I mean, how do you blur out somebody's face? You got to edit it or something? How do you do that?
No.
What you should do is do infields, because there's guys in the space. The person in the space that has the highest.
Okay, Alex, I'll send you everything privately.
Okay.
All right. Look, I think infields are more important, because you can.
Infields are way more important.
You can easily fake pictures. I exposed Coach Whitebill for that, where he was like taking pictures with girls. He was taking pictures with girls that she met they were like promoters outside of a club.
Okay,
all right?
so that's why I want to say that commercial is so not real, because we're in a position right now where you said send me a picture, but then you said, oh, well, the picture is going to be fake anyways. So that's what I'm saying. It's too fake. It's like,
No,
you won't believe me,
thing is
even though
that
I'll show you the facts. So that's why I'm like, okay, let's just do it in person so that what you see is what you believe.
sure, yeah, dude. If you actually meet up with Duke, that'd be awesome. I mean, I just have a feeling it's not gonna happen.
Can somebody be a medium for this?
Dude, I want you to be honest, dude. Have you taken a deuce right now? Do you feel like you had to take a deuce right now?
I took a shit before I came on, bro. I took a fat one, and I'm taking a fat one right now, bro. Right now, actively, high as fuck. To me,
hey, I agree with you on being high though. That takes you to the next level.
All right, so you're gonna meet up. You're gonna meet up with
is
Duke
this
in LA.
happening,
You
or
guys are doing this?
can we get a third party meeting?
Let's do it New Year. Yeah, we gotta have someone that can at least show proof.
Like, I don't. Yeah, that's
the problem. I don't live in LA. I live in Miami. If you guys come to Miami, I'm happy to document the whole thing.
Now, Alex, I'm gonna also show live footage. Like, I've been kind of struggling doing that because it's kind of difficult to go to a place and do that. But I'm thinking about having some type of camera where I can make that happen. And at that point, you guys still may be little. You probably paid her.
No, I won't say no.
It's like you can't do anything.
No, that's not true, dude. I'm not black pillar. If you show me a video of you talking to a girl and I can see that you're doing well, I will fully revise my position. The reason I'm so confident in my position is, okay, I'm looking at the evidence that I have in front of me. On one side, we have 2 speed date performances, which I'm sorry, were ultra cringe. On the other side, we have your word saying that you're really good and you have the secret system, but you can only give us 2 of the steps because the other 8 steps are confidential, right? So it's just like, yeah, like I would safely bet all my money on the fact that, you're largely lying or entirely lying. But hey, if you show me
okay, so Alex, how much money would you like to bet?
What exactly is the bet?
You said you would bet all your money. What is it that you would bet all your money?
I'll happily put like $5,000 to $10,000 on Duke right now. To win
really?
The competition. Yeah.
Now, do you think, honestly, do you think that's a logical thing to do?
Yeah, I would be very, very confident with my bet. Yeah.
So can we agree? Is that everyone? Let's say hypothetically, would everyone agree that they would put their money on Duke?
How much money would you put? Would you put your money on Duke to win this competition, or would you not feel confident doing that? Put a 1 if you will put your money on Duke. Put a 2 if you put your money on BMAC.
Can I just say this? Can I just say this? That I obviously assume that everyone is going to pick Duke because they're familiar with Duke. I could be like a hook.
Not really.
They've never heard me before. So in these scenarios, of course, they're going to say that. But then, as I already told you before,
some of my chat doesn't like Duke.
Oh, exactly. Do you know what my channel is all about? All I do is expose people like you, bro. That's all I do on my channel, and it's polarizing. Some people like it, some people don't like it. But I'm not. Listen, you can't listen.
You can expose me all you want to because I'm organic.
I gotta say, hey, you just got exposed. I don't know what.
If you expose me, that means that you're gonna expose that I know what I'm doing.
You organic, all right? Some organic.
I want to say Let's talk. Okay, let's get off the shit talk and let's talk practical steps. So here's one. I want to see this competition. We're talking about who's going to document in LA. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd have to see.
I'd much rather go to Miami, bro. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean that would be a lot better. BMAC, when can you travel to Miami? We can hold off until February.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can try to see if I can go there around there. It's been difficult though because I've been injured and I haven't really been able to be in control of the stuff that I want to do. But I would definitely make that as a priority to come out there to embarrass Duke and anybody else that wants to be involved in this embarrassment.
Oh, okay.
Could I see a demo of Duke skills just for a comparison? Is maybe my bar is just set way too high and unfairly,
What's the question?
I was just curious to see Duke skills, like just since we got a demo of BMAX. I just curious.
Sure.
Since BMAC did say that speed dating is really, really difficult and really inorganic, that I imagine that the same issue would arise for Duke.
Erudite, how you doing, baby? What's going on with you?
Hi, I'm doing good.
Sorry you had to see me in such a tense manner, but I gotta acknowledge you're looking kind of good right now. I like your little choker you got there.
I'm always wearing the choker. Does that mean you always think I look good?
Oh, no. It just represents a couple different things, but you know what I'm saying?
Oh, tell me. Pray do tell.
Whoa! You haven't heard about chokers and
No, I've heard of the Church of Choker, and that's about it.
what you know about that?
It's the cult that I run.
You for real got a cult?
I wish I did. I'd probably be way richer if I had a cult.
You gotta indoctrinate me in that.
Yeah. Well, first step, you notice the choker. You're already halfway in.
Nah, but like
There's actually 9 steps, but I could break them down into 2 pretty easily.
Oh, like 9. Add one more. You got the 10 commandments, right?
Basically. The second step is called the 4-look step. If you look at my choker 4 times in a row, you'll be mesmerized.
All right, but how do I gotta look at
disagree with that? Alex, do you disagree with my 4-look system?
Oh, hold on. You can't just.
Why did you finish the speed date, for God's sakes?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Let's keep going.
That was.
All right, so like my first look, I'm looking at them chokers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I gotta turn around because I got the first step done. So now my second look, I'm just like, ooh, you got the little brow thing going on there too.
Mm-hmm. And yet my neck has bad posture, so I get all the lines on my neck too.
All right, so tell me about yourself.
What do you want to know? I'm a mystery.
Mystery? I love mysteries. All right, so where you from?
I am from Canada.
Oh, Canada. Neighbors to the north, not too far. Are you living there right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, shit. What do you like about it?
Free healthcare is pretty nice.
Oh, shit, for real?
Yep.
We got expenses as Erica. Oh, shit. Looks like, is that your dog back there?
Yeah, sorry. She's like super racist. I think she's like lifted out.
Oh, so she's not a fan of chocolate?
Yeah, exactly.
Really? Hey,
I mean, chocolate kills dogs, right?
I know chocolate's unhealthy, but what about you? You fan of chocolate?
Yeah. Depends on the time of the month. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So here's what's gonna happen. All right. So what's usually the time of month for you?
Do you want the actual answer, or do you want a cheeky answer?
I like cheeks.
Okay. There's a prerequisite. You come on in the right rate, I'm always in the mood for chocolate.
Oh shit! Nice, go down nice and smooth, huh?
Mm-hmm. True. True.
Bitch, Mac.
It's okay, man. I mean, me gaining and me getting pussy. Can I say that on here or no?
Yeah, you can say whatever.
Okay, that's probably something he's never heard of before. But me getting girls, it seems like his ego is obviously tarnished because it's like it's my fact is making him.
It's not bad at all, B-Mac. Here's the thing. Me and Duke, okay, let me explain it like this. Me and Duke, well, I think also pretty much everyone else on the panel, but I can definitely speak for me and Duke. We both think you're lying. Now, me and Duke have wildly different ways of dealing with people who we think are lying. My style is just to mildly troll them and just kind of be like, okay, cool, bro. Duke's style is a lot more aggressive than mine, right? But when it comes to like what we believe, we're 100% in agreement in terms of our beliefs. And I don't know where Kevin stands or Kyla stands, but they can weigh in. But yeah, so it's not that he's triggered or threatened by you in any way. He doesn't know who you are. He doesn't care. It's just that he believes you're lying. And, honestly, so do I. But hey, you might prove me wrong if you submit, if I could see some kind of evidence. But as
you can believe that a belief is not a fact, right?
No, I cannot prove in a court of law that you suck with girls.
Right. Just like a feeling is not a fact.
Yeah, I cannot prove in a court of law. Like, I cannot be a prosecutor and be like, okay, here are 5, 10 methods for why BMAX sucks with girls. But yeah, based on the evidence I've seen, which is kind of how you carry yourself, your mini speed date with Kyla, your lack of self-awareness, your speed date with the other chick. Yeah, I feel like pretty confident in the evidence.
Oh, and on the first speeding date, everything that I did was very, very strategic. I basically told them what they wanted to hear, and that's why it was all exciting at first. And I specifically
don't remember the first one. We can pull it up if you want.
It's only been 2.
And then I remember the second one, but not the first.
Yeah, the first one I specifically asked a question, And anybody can look it back up. I asked a question. I asked that on purpose. And the reaction that I got from it is exactly what I wanted. And that's exactly what I told my students.
So did the girl say
Bro, come on, dude.
I don't recall that one. Yo,
Yeah,
chat.
if you look
let
it
me
up,
know?
I'm not lying.
Can you guys find the chat? Can you guys please find the BMAX first speed date and let me know how he did? I legitimately do not remember that one.
They're gonna say he did good at
was
first.
that the one? Was that the one with Eden? And
Yes.
Yeah,
Eden.
nah, it was trash, bro.
As I said, that is something that a person that's cached is not cleared would say.
You keep saying that. I don't really know what that means.
You don't know because you don't know. That's what I'm trying to say. Like,
I
have it
strategically as step one. You have to clear your cache. You have to clear what you've been trained to know. Once you get past that stage, then we can move on to the next level. And Duke, for the first time, I can get you a girl.
No, well, I've seen Duke pull chicks, so I know.
I haven't.
Okay,
bro. Hey, when's your next speed dating session?
I'm not doing.
Actually, no. You know what? Me and him right now. Me and him right now. Me and him right now.
Speed dating is not real. Speed dating is not real.
Me and you right now. Let's do it. Right now.
Speed dating is not real.
Right now, let's do it. Right now, me and you.
So I feel like that's something that someone who doesn't have a good game would say, like just as to make excuses.
Really, Alec? That's what that means.
I have never seen.
That means that I have game. That means that if I'm saying to you that I'm willing to talk to girls in person, how many guys are scared to talk to girls in person?
Dude,
most people cannot go and holler at a girl in person.
Dude, every single person who performs well on speed dates also talks to girls in real life. I can talk to girls in real life easily. So can Duke. So has literally every other person. So has Marcus. Every person who's done well.
Of your some of your teachings, like let's just do a quick little speed date right now.
As I said to you, I don't speed date because speed date is not realistic. The things that you do in real life, you cannot do online. Like online, there's so much.
So you can't have a conversation online.
To fakeness.
You can't have a conversation online.
Not as a speed date, you can't. Because like I said, it's not the same.
Okay, BMAC, what do you do when a girl wants to video chat with you before meeting up?
Well, that doesn't necessarily happen because that would require me to be on an online dating app. As I told you, I meet girls in person. Now, if I've already met her and we on video chat, then that's one thing. But I've never liked doing dating apps and all that stuff because it's very, very fake. And then you get catfished most of the times anyways. People say this, they say that. It's not organic.
Okay. I understand all the reasons why online dating sucks. Okay. I think we're not going to get anywhere. I think there's only two things that can happen moving forward. One is we do this in-person competition. You can make a lot of money, BMAC, because I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is personally. So, yeah, when can you commit to coming out to Miami?
I'll have to see with the doctor by the beginning of the year. Now, so Duke's not going to come to LA because he said he has access to coming out here.
He could come out there.
I can come to LA. I do that every year. I'm just saying that I don't trust you, bro. I need somebody to mediate it.
The problem
you
is
can have anybody mediate. If you want to bring a homie to come mediate, that's more than fine.
No, but I think it should be like a media person, like someone who has a channel. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't have to be me. I just know I cannot personally because my dad is going to be here for New Year's, so I cannot fly out to LA. I can maybe see if I have other people who do what I do, but there's no guarantees that they'd be willing to do that. But if you're willing to come out to Miami, I can 100% facilitate and set up the competition.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that just because of my medical condition right now.
But how? Okay, I'm kind of confused about this too. So how are you going to like walk around and pick up girls, but you can't like take a flight? Like you just sit on the plane. What's the issue?
Because I have a scooter, Alex.
No, I know, but you said
just said you can beat me in a scooter, right?
But you said you're going to be in a boot.
To the 31st. Oh yeah, because I'm gonna have a boot after that. Well, okay.
I thought you said the scooter doesn't matter.
It does. Yeah, this a plane and hauling at girls. That's the difference. It's a little difficult to travel if you literally have a cast on your foot. Come on now, give me some type of credit.
Dude, I will literally fucking buy you, like, I will use my points to buy you a plane ticket if you agree to do this competition. Like,
You
that's
swear? Okay, if you buy me a plane ticket and you guys ain't gonna jump me when I arrive there because of the.
Yeah, dude. Do I really look like the kind of person that's jumping somebody? Like, really look at me? Like, I'm the guy that's jumping.
But let me just say, if you were to, you should feel bad because I'm a one-legged man.
Dude, you're good,
Right.
man. I absolutely, there will be no physical.
Ain't nobody
There will be no
got
physical
time to
violence of
do
any
that
kind.
shit. Ain't nobody on
Yeah,
that bullshit.
that's not gonna
bro.
happen.
What are you talking about?
I'll try to
What do
search
you
for a
do
plane
this?
ticket. And Alex, you got me. I'll
I
make
will
that.
use my points. Yeah, I have a lot of points. I will use my points to buy you a plane
So
ticket.
when are we
So
doing this?
when do you think you could do it? You could do February, or when are you thinking?
Yeah, let's do early part of February.
Okay, early part of February. Okay, and then when do you want to come back with a video of you picking up girls?
Okay, so we're gonna do something this weekend. So I'm gonna try to see if we can get some footage this weekend to do that, and so you guys can see from there what's good, and
All right.
it'll just be as organic. And I'll tell the guys, pick any chick, and then that's what we'll do.
Well, yeah, I want to see you pick up the girl, not something.
No, I'm gonna tell them pick any girl that's in there. I mean,
Oh.
I just want to make it as organic to where you guys gonna be like, you don't know her, you didn't pay for her, or whatever the case may be.
I'll be able to tell by the body language. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
All right, buddy.
All right,
Cool.
sounds good.
Pleasure
This is
meeting you
beautiful.
guys, everyone, including you,
All right.
dude. Pleasure
Yeah,
meeting
you
you guys.
too, bro.
All right.
Take care, Mac.
Nice.
All right. What do you think is the
Bye,
odds that
D-Mac.
he's actually going to show up? I was
It's a goose egg.
I was trying to just make it as easy. I'm like, all right, dude, I'll fucking put my points out there, like whatever. I think it will be really good content.
I'm just looking forward to his video of him picking up girls in a
I don't
scooter.
think it's gonna happen. I mean, he seems like a nice guy. I feel bad, but he's straight
All
up
right.
lying out of his ass.
So let's get on to the Greg debate. The moment
Wait,
everybody's been waiting
can we
for.
watch the video that he made about me first?
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
I think that's a
Of
good
course.
idea. Yeah.
But wait, just real quick, my final thoughts. Like, there's just okay. You guys can weigh in. There's no way that guy can be good. Like, you can have a guy who does so in a speed date, but he's pretty good. But you cannot have a guy who consistently bombs these interactions when it's told, hey, talk to this girl. The only thing he can say is, oh, nice mic, and this guy's a master in real life. Like no.
Well, it's also getting I know it's kind of a meme to say this, but I think it's true. Also getting triggered really easily because everybody in the dating space, I think, would agree and say oh, well, girls are going to give you shit tests to test your strength and is this guy bullshitting or is he the real thing? This is why Myron Gaines doesn't have game. This is why John Anthony doesn't have games. Why Coach Whitefield doesn't have game. This is why BMAC, I'm sorry, but I don't think you have game either because you're so reactive. You're so emotionally reactive. I'm not saying you have to be completely stoic and unemotional, but you can't be super reactive and
let's ask Kyla, how turned on were you getting when you were talking to BMAC during the speed date? I mean, are we talking leave your husband territory, or just maybe have an affair territory, or just fantasize every night territory? Where are we at?
I was thinking gaslight my husband into an open relationship territory.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, let's kick off.
I think if he shows up in the scooter, you'll be down.
Truly,
you won't be able to resist yourself.
Do you want to play the video?
You're going to have to give him the 4 looks.
I can't share anything. I don't have the magical powers, but I DM'd you the link on Discord and I can send it to your phone in 3 seconds if you need that too.
Yeah, sure. I'll just pull it up. Give me a second.
Okay. So excited for this video.
I'm so excited for the competition. Okay. Okay, there we go. Expose the menace of feminists. Yep. Okay, I need to just put in my headphones so it doesn't bug out. I got pulled up. Okay, there we go. All right, let me know if there's any audio issues.
Goes through his third bout of pneumonia and he gets out of the hospital and now suddenly everything has to do with whatever yeah, it's echoey off kind of weird idea
yeah, it is. Oh yeah.
It could be it's editing. I'm not sure. I don't think it's echoey when I've watched it. I just want to make sure it's not the
Kevin, do you think you could pull it up on your end?
Okay, yeah. I don't know because something's happening to my camera. So Probably not.
Okay, let me.
I need to figure this out. My bad.
Give me a second to troubleshoot. 1 second.
Oh, GoPro webcams are really rough sometimes.
Oh yeah.
My default external microphone, Logitech. Yeah, the problem is I'm not wearing my. What if I? Okay, I think if I mute my mic here, it might be okay.
Okay. Is in culture, in like cultural feminism, which is like the fourth wave of feminism. There's a whole kind of field within it that kind of talks about how like women should be encouraged to be women. Like we shouldn't, like feminism doesn't need to encourage women to be men. Have like a psychotic disorder that's budding and have been like filled by society. Like the reality is like probably both of these things are true. And it's really hard to disentangle which factor is like most important for creating who you are today. It's a conundrum of psychology. That is also true, but also that has nothing to do with what I'm
thinking of it logistically. Like if you're the guy and she's the girl, like, do you know if you have that type of girl? You're taking almost a leap of faith in that area. And if she is that type of person, like that's a form of.
You don't think you can vet for that? Do you think the relationship would maintain long term?
I'm not a fortune teller.
What do you think? Take a guess.
I'm not a fortune teller.
I think you're weaseling out of answers.
No.
The obvious answer is
I don't know the full details.
Love and relationships are not simply. Are you a contractualist? Are you a utilitarian contractualist? Account is proof of your status. You're literally just reinforcing what I'm saying. Because men have to pursue self-improvement to have sex. So if they have a body count, it proves to everyone around them that they're a man of value. If you're a guy and you sit down, you can't sit down and tell your bros, look, I swear I have value. I make 100K. I've got a nice car. If you sit down with your bros and you're like, yeah, but I fucked 40 chicks, all the dudes know you're valid. It's done.
Actually, wrong. I don't last.
Nothing. Well, hang on. That's
why do elements like why does infertility and
because now is all we have. Because now is all we have.
We're all gonna die one day. Nothing is permanent. All of us are gonna be dead in 100 years, unless like fucking science comes a long way. Also, let me clarify.
I agree. So then why do you put stock in long-term relationships then?
Because they have this really good to be in a relationship with someone you love and care about who has the same
Hey, what's up, guys? Greg here. So this is the one that everyone has been waiting for. Jesus Christ. Not so erudite, whatever, hermaphrodite, whatever the fuck that thing is. I really wish Alex would stop platforming her because she offers zero value to the channel, but ultimately it is Alex's choice who he wants to bring on and what he wants to do with his channel. I think he just brings her on for like views, honestly. And this is nothing personal against Alex, but she is immense. Like, let's analyze that. So in those clips that you just saw, you can see like something is wrong with her. I mean, you don't got to listen to much of her, the bullshit that comes out of her mouth, to know that something is wrong with this chick. Very toxic, toxic blue pill ideology. She offers no value. As you can guys see, she was gaslighting Angry for wanting to get limb lengthening, aka a procedure that adds height by breaking your knees and extending them. Not something I'd recommend, but yeah. I don't know. And then she says, that's sad. That's so sad. He goes, why is it sad? And she's like, no, it's sad. How are you going to say that's sad and call someone pathetic? But be like, oh, but you're a great guy. She clearly was gaslighting him. Like, that's crazy. I had to bring that up because that blows my mind. And this chick has a background in psychology. She's like a behavioral therapist. Bro, what the fuck? I'm sorry. If that was my fucking therapist, I would have left the agency. I'd be like, no, what the fuck? Like, there's just no way. It's not feasible. And it's ridiculous, I think people like Erudite need to be stopped. I mean, I get it if he wants to have Kevin on. I get it if he wants to have, wants to have like Yende on. If he wants to have whoever, Prinzo, like they're okay. But like, yeah, this guy's funny. They're like attacking me because I said Natty was decent. Like what? Okay, whatever. Get over yourself. But yeah, it is what it is. So I think it just has to be. I don't know, just she needs to be stopped. I think she has no good intentions. She's clearly a sociopath if you look at her mannerisms and how she interacts with other people, and just overall her content offers zero value. I mean, look at the shit that comes out of her fucking mouth. I mean, it does not make fucking sense. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. Just whenever she comes on, I just kind of tune out. I don't like listening to her. I think she's very annoying, and she purposely like makes her she makes her fucking mic very sensitive. Like she increases the mic sensitivity, so her voice is projected. She tries to talk over you. She'll cut you off, and she doesn't even let you finish a point. It's not a surprise they rage quit from that debate because nobody wants to fucking deal with that shit. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's pretty much all I got. She's a menace. She really needs to be stopped. And if we don't stop her, then she's gonna keep fucking coming out and this and that and the third. And apparently she has like a big following on Twitch because on YouTube she only has 20,000 subs, and you know she's friends with Destiny and a bunch of other people, and it's kind of sad. But anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. Stay tuned. I'm gonna be doing more hit pieces on other people. Hit pieces, not hate. I can't even talk, bro. I'm so fucking tired today. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing more hit pieces on people. So let me know who you guys want to see next. And see you in the next one.
All right.
You're muted, Alex.
There we go. All right, let's bring on Greg.
Duplicitous Kyla and duplicitous BMAC. My nephew Greg. I'm just fucking around. What's up, guys?
Oh yeah, I wasn't sure if it was you in the back.
Wait,
I thought it
nah,
was just
my
some Spanish guy.
Maximum impression is shit. Rishi, Seller guy, does it better. But
All
yeah,
right, this is gonna be juicy. Let's kick this off.
let's get into it. The loser is here.
Okay. I don't know how we should kick this off. So you made quite a few claims about Kyla in that video. Kyla, where do you want to start?
There's so many good claims. I guess we could start with I think your thesis, which is that I need to be stopped because I'm a menace. I guess we could start with why you believe I'm a menace.
Why don't I believe you're a menace?
I'm asking you, so you should probably just tell me. Otherwise,
Should I though? No,
I don't know why else you'd be here.
I mean, I could be here just for funsies. No, okay. So my first issue I had is your conversation with Mr. Angry. Now I don't know how many times you've interacted with Angry outside that one time, but I know he used to go on the Hormaxer streams. Long story short, he's a very insecure guy. But given the fact that you know how insecure he is and just how much he's insecure about his height and whatever stuff, you kind of just said you're a smart guy, but then you're just like, but it's so sad. It's so sad. It's pathetic. Even if that's how you're truly feeling, do you think that's something you should say to someone that is potentially depressed?
I never told him that he was pathetic.
Do you want to bring that whole thing up?
You are welcome to. I never told him that he was pathetic.
What exactly did you say to him verbatim?
I told him that I was really sad to know that he was lied to by the black pill ideology to think that a guy who's at his height already needs to get limb lengthening surgery.
No, that part I agree with, but you said that's so sad. It's sad. You're not referring to
it is sad. I'm not calling him
You're not
pathetic,
calling him
though.
sad, but that is something he got. It's not like some, you know what I mean, just some random hypothetical. Man's actually, No, I did. I was listening.
There's a gap
to the whole thing.
between
We said
your-
it's sad. Anyways,
it's sad versus you're pathetic, right? You see that those are different claims.
No, it's the connotation is that's sad. That's still not implying positive. You're not like, oh, that's so fucking awesome, dude. I love how you stretch your fucking knees and they're going to be wheelchair bound for however much just to gain whatever inches. You don't.
Would that have been a better response in your mind?
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't gaslight somebody. I mean, you're a behavioral therapist after all,
okay,
right?
Let's start with gaslight. What do you think gaslighting is?
What do you think gaslighting is? Because we might have two different definitions.
Okay,
But you're the mental health expert. I want to hear your definition because you're more qualified than I am. This loser is not qualified. Absolutely not. So I want to hear it from the pro.
So the reason I'm asking you what gaslight means because you've used the term. So
I have, but I want to hear your definition.
Why would you want to know? I'm not pleading the fifth. Do you understand how debates work?
I do understand how debates. I've debated twice already.
Okay, so you understand that if you make a claim, my job as your interlocutor is to make sure that I clarify and understand your claim. So I'm asking you, when you say I'm a gaslighter, what does that mean?
What does that mean? Okay, in my honest opinion, I think you are gaslighting him, meaning, okay, so this is my opinion. I know I'm not, the expert, whatever.
That's fine. Just what do you think?
Well, so the issue is okay, let's say I'll give you an example because I don't know. You work off statistics. I don't really do statistics. So the way it goes is pretty much like this. You compliment him. You're you're a smart guy. You seem really cool. But that's sad. It's so sad. You don't think that's gaslighting? Kind of throwing someone off and then pretty much putting him in your realm. Because, you got that psychology degree. What's your expertise, by the way? You got a PhD or a master's. What are you working with?
I'm a psychometrician and a licensed addictions counselor.
Okay, elaborate. What degrees is that? 4 years of school, 6? I'm not a psycho expert, so I want to know.
So in total, presently, I've done 6.5 years plus 2 major practicums, and I've been working professionally for about 4 years.
Okay, and you work as a behavioral therapist. So what's your exact?
No, No, I work
Okay.
as a psychometrician and a licensed addiction counselor.
Oh, addiction counselor. Okay, got you. So for example, let's say you're dealing with like the addicts and stuff. Are you gonna say like that's sad, like that's so pathetic? Like you wouldn't say that to
I
someone,
didn't
right?
say that that is so pathetic. I said that it is sad.
Well, sad. What's the implication behind sad?
That it is sad.
In your opinion, but he said that's not sad, and you're like, no, 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 that's so sad. It's almost like you're trying to get in his head and convince him that's sad.
I'm not trying to convince him that it's sad. I said it is sad.
But how do we
It
know
is-
that though?
It doesn't matter. It's an opinion. Of course, it's
Did
an
you
opinion.
see all like the negative comments afterwards about you? Not just like you in general, but like your demeanor, the way you
Right.
come across.
right now, or like in the chat right now?
No, don't read the chat. That's your biggest mistake.
I'm
Stop
not reading.
the
I'm,
chat.
stop.
Don't read
Greg.
the chat. Trust me, Kyla.
Greg,
Don't
stop
read
giving
it.
me.
You're
Don't
gonna
give me
get so
pro
upset.
tips.
Please don't read the chat. I'm
not
doing
reading
this
the
for
chat.
you.
I'm
Don't read the
okay.
chat. Okay,
Good
good. Just
job.
making sure.
I'm clarifying when you said, "Did you see the chat?" You're also like really jumping. Can we maybe
know.
like
I love
stick to
jumping.
one topic?
Yeah,
You can't
let's
keep
let's
up?
let's,
Am I
let's
going
keep
too
it
fast?
to one
Because
topic.
we started with
All right.
gaslighting, and now you're saying, "See, didn't you see all the comment?" Like you're really jumping around. So to clarify, you said gaslighting is when I compliment him and then follow it up by a negative statement, like, "But it's sad."
Yeah.
Okay,
What is
so
you
that
gave
is
him a few compliments?
not how I would define gaslighting. And I
Well,
think the
that
biggest
brings-
problem with mental health term is everyone weaponizing psych terms when it's not it, right. I think you would probably
That's
agree,
true.
right? Everyone on the left is
No,
like, this
not
is
everyone.
abuse. Somebody called me a mean name. It's abuse. And we're like, okay, well, that's ridiculous. Like
I've seen
abuse
that
means
before. So I do agree, but I disagree. And that's why I was asking for your definition. I never made any claims saying I have a psychology background. Like my background is criminal justice. I've taken psychology courses, but I'm not like up the ranks like you would be, for example. I'm not a counselor. I don't claim to be. That's why I wanted to know what your definition is, because then I'm going to give you mine and we're going to see how it matches up. I want to see the whole gap, like whatever that gap is, which is, if you
sure.
want to.
So it depends on who you're talking to, but most people would argue gaslighting is to some degree intentionally convincing somebody that they're crazy for some manipulative ends, right? So if I was gaslighting my husband, I would, for example, be like questioning his reality a lot so that he thinks that maybe what he's seeing isn't real or that his thinking is really strange. I'd probably be constantly telling them that I'm pretty sure he's super mentally ill with an intentional goal of making him believe that he's crazy so that I have a bit of like a power threshold. That's usually what gaslighting refers to.
That's the correct definition.
Yeah.
Okay, by default. So yeah, so you don't think you come across as like condescending or like you're kind of talking down to people, whether you acknowledge it or not, based on other
This is
people.
different. Well, hold on. That's a non sequitur. Whether or not I'm condescending has nothing to do about whether I'm gaslighting somebody.
Wait, but you're potentially admitting to being condescending because I just want to.
Sure. I think when I get passive
we're gonna
aggressive,
save that for later. Just,
well, no,
just remember that.
sure.
Yeah.
Good
Okay.
job.
Okay.
Let's focus back on the gaslighting. Are you basically, are you disavowing?
It comes
don't think
across
I'm a
as
gaslighter
gaslighting.
now.
I mean, in my opinion, it seemed like you were almost. I don't know. Okay, to be fair, I don't know what your goal was with Mr. Angry, because again, I've only talked to him a few times. I don't know if he's really manically depressed. He could be depressed. I mean, clearly he has some kind of issues. But I just don't think it's smart to tell someone that's so sad, even if you personally think that. Like, I get it in your head. You're like, that's sad. What the fuck? He said he was like, what, like 5'9", and he's trying to get to the magic number, 6 feet, whatever.
Do you think my emotions about an experience are so big and so overwhelming that if I say that I think that something is sad, that it is going to destroy his psyche? Is a woman's feelings of sadness that great?
Whoa! Don't bring gender up into this. No. We ain't going there. We're gonna keep it strictly like emotion to. We can, but we won't. So let's just stick to the basics.
Okay.
I like that. Okay, so. Okay, just thought I heard a sound. Whatever. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Like, because you could tell this guy has some kind of issues. Wouldn't you agree?
Sure.
Like, you don't think there's like a potential?
I don't think there's anything wrong about me both giving him a compliment and then later, not in the same sentence, because he made it sound like I said, "You're a really nice guy, but also sad." That's never what happened. What happened is when we were talking, I gave him a bunch of things of saying, I think there's a lot to offer you. In fact, to the point that Alex and I were both agreeing that it's kind of tragic that he did the leg lengthening syndrome when it's surgery, when it seems like the guy has actually a fair bit to offer. He seems very bright. He was actually already decently tall. He's just like a little bit socially awkward and insecure. But that was by no means this insurmountable thing. And it is sad. It is sad that somebody who has a fair bit to offer the world and was like actually reasonably, what was he, 5'11" when he got it, or was he 5'8"? I can't remember.
5'10", I think.
I think
Yeah.
5'9". You're kind of forgetting some of the
he's
facts.
5'10".
That's
He's
fine.
5'10".
Okay,
I
he's
thought he said
5'10".
5'9.5". I don't know. Whatever it was. Anyways.
Okay, now the facts are better. Anyways, so he was 5'10", and it's pretty tragic that he got convinced into this idea that he needs to get limb lengthening syndrome. When it's like, when you're 5'10", you don't need height. Okay, the 5'10" isn't the issue. And he had a lot of other things to offer. It does seem kind of sad to me. That doesn't seem gaslighty for me to tell him that makes me sad, and also to tell him positive qualities about him.
Keyword doesn't seem, in your opinion, though, but from other people's perspectives, because you're just kind of looking at it through your perspective. You're not even seeing it through Angry's. I mean, he seemed pretty triggered. Not that it's your fault for triggering him, because I feel like you trigger a lot of people.
I don't think he was that triggered. Me and Angry's conversation was pretty calm.
Keyword, I don't think, but do you know that for a fact?
Of course not. You don't know anyone's perspective on the internet.
That's
for
my
a fact.
point.
No, that's a stupid point. That's meaningless.
In your opinion, it's stupid.
Okay, but no.
In Kyle's world, it's stupid. In reality,
in Greg's world, I'm stupid. In Greg's world,
Yeah.
I was gaslighting. See how we can both do the same shit?
Yeah,
this
I mean, it's great.
This relativism argument isn't it, Chief. It's not the argument that you want to go for. Yeah, I wouldn't be the one.
Call me Chief.
Okay.
Call me Chief, buddy.
I will not do that.
Well, good. Don't call me Chief.
Okay, I might continue to call you Chief because I see that it annoys you, to be honest.
No,
but...
Oh, it doesn't. No, I'm just fucking with you.
Okay, that's magical.
Call me Chief some more. But anyways,
so you
let's
see
get
how?
back on track.
So
Okay.
are you going to renege that I'm a gaslighter? Are you?
In my honest opinion, there's a lot of claims about you. I'm just trying to go one-on-one.
So I'm starting with the first one. Do you think I'm a
that's the first one. I still am. I'm not backing down. I still think you gaslighted him.
Were you agreeing to my definition of gaslighting? Because I'm the only one who's offered one so far.
The only one? Was we got to ask everyone here for a definition?
Well, it's between me and you gave us an anecdote. You said, well, when I mean gaslight, I mean like for example, you compliment him and then you say, but it's sad, which isn't really a definition. And I said, I inserted a definition, and then Kevin and Alex said that is the correct definition, meaning probably both of them Googled it, I'm guessing, when they said that.
Well,
or they know the term gaslight.
Definition aside, I still feel like you were kind of gaslighting him.
So if you're going to prove that, you have to work with
All right, I'll ask Angry. I'll get in
definition.
touch with Angry and I'll get back to you. Because
It doesn't matter what Angry. No,
what do you mean it doesn't matter? But it does matter.
Because if you're going to claim that if I'm going to claim that somebody physically assaulted me, don't you think that I have to provide evidence that falls within the definition of physical assault to prove that he's physically assaulted me? So if I said somebody physically assaulted me, and they're like, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, like I felt like he physically assaulted me. And people are like, well, I don't know if that's really true. What's your evidence? And I'm like, well, like he was pretty aggressive, and like I felt really, really anxious and nervous around him. You see how that's not proof of physical assault?
Yeah, but we're not talking about physical assault. Like,
so
I don't know.
What we're talking about is gaslighting. And in the case of gaslighting, I said you need to intentionally try to convince people that they are crazy to get some sort of power dynamic between you two. So how did I convince Angry that he was crazy?
No, you don't have to necessarily convince them that they're crazy. You just have
I have to at least be attempting to. So how was I attempting? Yes, that's the definition. This is the definition.
Listen to your tonality. Listen to your tonality. You constantly try to talk over people. You use your princess complex. I don't know what the fuck you have going on. Yeah, I know exactly. You don't see it, but we do. And you pretty much, based on just how you were talking to him, we could tell. No, yeah, definitely.
We?
100%.
Who's we?
We, the people. I see so many. Here's the thing. The people. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that hate me in this chat. I really don't give a fuck. But the thing is, from the comments, and there was multiple likes on the comment. There was like 20-something, 30. It was like negative comments about you. Why do you, why does
on your video?
No, not on my video. My video, I don't know why you're so stuck on my video.
I'm not. You said that there was 20 to 30 comments, and you haven't even oriented us to on what? About what? You never said that.
You, just negative comments.
Okay, I'm going to step in so we can move this forward because we're kind of stuck. Greg, do you agree with Kyla's definition of gaslighting?
To an extent.
Okay. What do you not like about it? Like, do you?
I don't like that she says you're trying to convince someone that they're crazy. I would more so, and this is just my opinion. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, right? I just think gaslighting, like, it goes more towards like someone thinks they're not just going insane, but like they're wrong, they're at fault, like kind of like victim blaming, like projection, like reverse, kind of like you do something like, oh, like you just cheated on someone. No, you're cheating, you know? So I think there's a little bit more to it. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Do you think gaslighting requires malicious intent?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe you guys can start off with that.
Okay. Prove that I have a malicious intent.
Proof? Okay. Based on the way that you talk to people. So how you come across. For example, there are some, I will give you, this is probably the most credit I'll give you, and I'm going to stop after this. You do make some points, but then when it goes into like different topics, I feel like you're super biased and you're almost trying to like sway people. Like, this is it. This has to be it. Like,
so your evidence that I have malicious intent is that I have a bias and that I try to sway people with my arguments.
I can cite an example. So
just to be clear, is that what you're claiming is your proof of malicious intent?
Well, we're going to get to the proof. This
is that what you're claiming? You said
yeah,
two
the claims
things
are there.
proof.
Yeah, those are the claims.
Okay.
Whatever malicious intent it is. If you don't think it's malicious intent, whatever. But in the eyes of the people, so are you're in an open marriage, right? Or I don't know what the case with that is.
I'm not really in an open marriage.
Then why do you have a Tinder profile?
Why do I have a Tinder profile? For a number of reasons. I have a Tinder profile specifically. So for a while, we were comparing how men and women experience Tinder online. We were actually exploring the idea of opening up our marriage. However, we've decided against that for the most part. So I had a Tinder profile for those two things. I don't have a Tinder profile anymore.
Interesting. Okay. So why did you decide against opening up the marriage?
So basically what we realized is that while for us, like things like, so our openness is not really open in any way that anyone open would. So we don't have sex and we don't have romantic relationships. We're open to the idea of going on dates and kissing. We realize that that is a problem for almost everyone that we interact with, though, because most people want more than just kissing and flirting. Right. And so it seemed to get a little bit messy. So we're actually going to explore other sexual options for us. So like kind of open things up, but maybe more in like the BDSM culture or like something like that, rather than including like single people who are pretty obviously going to be looking for more.
Okay, interesting. And then another follow-up question. Is your leg count 1? Like, is it true you only have one body count ever?
Sure. Are you going to tie this back to how I'm malicious, or are you just like asking about my sexuality?
I'm not sure. I want you to actually answer, because I'm actually performing an investigation, just different things I'm hearing. And I'm going to go based. Just answer the question.
Yeah, I have a leg count of 1.
Yeah, I highly doubt that.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, gotcha. So pretty much malicious intent. So I know you're like a hardcore blue pill. Is that fair to say?
Feminist? I would say that that's not true.
Okay, what would you categorize yourself? So I'm not like speaking for you.
I don't think I would categorize myself anywhere very well. The problem is I'm not really red pill, but I'm definitely not blue pill either. I'm somewhere in between. I joke and call it omni-pilled, but it's not an actual category, obviously.
Okay, interesting. I'm just trying to figure out what you stand for, because like people are saying, you know, you're a feminist. I can kind of hear it. You know what I mean? Not just like equal rights for everyone, right? I'm just talking about like strongly fuck men. Because
there's a lot of women who would beg for me to identify as a feminist. I'm almost there. I might consider myself a feminist pretty soon here, but previously in the past, I've always denounced feminism.
Yeah, I just feel like you're kind of like, I don't want to say brainwashing people. I just feel like you're sort of filling them with this like propaganda in a way, and just like I've recently, I mean, I knew you were a thing for like, you know, because of Alex's channel. Before that, I had no idea who you were. I, you know, heard you on Fresh and Fit. I thought that was interesting. Didn't even know that until somebody brought it up. But yeah, I just feel like, you know, you're hardcore trying to like get in people's heads. And this is why I'm saying I feel like, so you know,
what do you
like
mean by get in people's heads?
Like you're trying to tell them. So I've heard you have some interesting views in like monogamy, like relationships as a whole. And I'm not even talking about like what you do in your private life, just like your outlook on like dating and experience. Like, for example, someone actually brought up this point to me and they wanted me to talk about it. So I will. I forget exactly who it was, but they were saying that you're against guys kind of like, oh, well, this would be a very long speech. You're against guys either dating or being with multiple women just for experience before they commit to a long-term relationship and get serious. Is this true?
That my view, or is that your straw man of my view?
No. I'm asking. It's not a straw man.
That is not precisely my view. No.
Explain your view.
Okay, so my view is, we're going to circle back to how I have malicious intent.
Well, correct? Exactly.
Okay,
we're going to circle back.
Okay, we'll walk through the investigation. So the reason, what I actually view it as is I view the idea that men must have multiple sexual engagements to be experienced and to form a healthy relationship to be a problem. Because I don't think that it is a must. I think men would like to. I think men enjoy it. And that's different. The issue is a lot of people claim, for example, in the debate with Ayande was claiming that men must have this experience. And I disagree with that claim.
And you made him shit his pants and rage quit. That was interesting. But no, so this is where I think it's malicious. And again, because you'll go circle back. Yeah, I just think like it is pretty important to be experienced. I'm not saying you need to hit 1,600 late count like John to, have the best relationship and bang 10 out of 10 stunners. But
so how is you disagreeing with me make me malicious?
No, I think what you're spreading to guys, because there could be young guys. I don't know exactly who your fan base is. I know you've got a pretty big following. But like, yeah, that's pretty, you're kind of like trying to sway them almost with like toxic femininity or whatever that word is, not toxic masculinity, but I'm just going to say toxic feminazi.
What do you think about philosophy in general?
I know about philosophy. I'm not.
What do you think about it?
It's open to interpretations. Like we want to talk about Plato, Socrates, like
sure, Aristotle,
allegory of the cave. I mean, if you want to bring me into philosophy world, let's go there.
So I would ask how you feel about the style, like the Socraterian style of engagement, where you're asking other people questions and engaging in dialogue for some goal of changing people's minds or pointing out inconsistencies in their ideas. Do you think that's bad?
Could be good and bad. I'm staying neutral. Like, could be good, could be bad. Depends what the intent behind it is.
Okay, so I absolutely am arguing from a very specific position, and I'm arguing to some degree with hope that people will be swayed and will come to have my position. The issue is you're saying that I'm brainwashing people, which is kind of a compliment. It sounds like I have fucking superpowers. I wish I was. It sounds like I'm pretty fucking persuasive.
You sure?
Yeah, it sounds like it. If you think that my ability to my style of argumentation is so compelling that people are going to be brainwashed if they hear my ideas, that's fucking, honestly, thank you very much. I don't think I'm that compelling, to be honest. I think what I see in the chat proves that a lot of people have a lot of pushback and different viewpoints, which is based and fine. But yeah, absolutely, I'm advocating for my position on things. I've never once pretended that I don't think that my ideas are better and that I'm advocating for these ideas. I could be wrong, but the issue is, you said changing people's minds could be good or bad. The only way now that you can prove that I'm changing people's minds for bad is you have to prove that I have the sole goal of maliciously changing people's mind to an idea that will bring them harm. And you have to prove that I know that it will bring them harm. And that's how you need to prove that I'm malicious.
It could be any kind of malicious intent. So it could be that, for example, she's doing it for financial gain, right? She's manipulating people for financial gain. It could be she's doing it for clout. But there needs to be some kind of malicious intent on her part. That's kind of where we're at right now.
The only way I feel like we could prove this if we get her to a lie detector test, and I'm kind of pulling in Alex here. Like, are you willing to do a lie detector test?
How would that even work?
That's what I'm saying, because it's hard to prove. It's only opinion based, right? I feel like if we were to, for example, hypothetical, we take Kyla, we put her in a lab, we hook her up to the machines. We're like, okay, we start asking her questions, and then we have like an actual professional. The only way it would because there is a way to cheat a lie detector test, but I'm saying, for example, let's just say we give her a lie detector test and she's getting nervous or whatever, because I don't know if she's a coach. Do you offer any kind of services?
But Greg, what do you think she's lying about? Like, what are we going to ask her about?
I just think she's just kind of like projecting her views in a way, and she's trying to get guys to sort of like have this. Because I disagree. You're saying that like guys don't need a lot of experience to be successful, because you're kind of saying, I know you go back to the Allende thing, and I'm not too familiar with Allende. I see him.
Not what I've said. You're incorrect about what my claim is again.
What do you mean I'm incorrect about what your claim is?
So I don't say that guys don't need experience to be successful. I said that the viewpoint that they must sleep around before they have a relationship is untrue.
But why though? There's a lot of people who disagree with that.
Because there's tons of guys who don't have tons of experience and are still successful in relationships.
How so? Give me proof.
To be honest, you could just pull most people and their blade count and the number of people who are in committed relationships. Most people in committed relationships don't have a super high body count, suggesting that you don't need to fuck around to have a successful relationship.
I know you like studies, so let's do a study on this. Let's poll the people and then their body count, and let's conduct the experiment, and then we'll see.
Do you want to do a good study, or do you just want to like poll the chat? We can poll the chat because it's funsies, but it's not like really a study. You realize that, right?
Let's poll whoever. I'm down.
So I'm going to be honest. I don't care enough about you to invest in
Yeah,
building
and I
like a
don't care
major
about
study.
you either, but I like
Okay.
for the clicks and stuff, it would be pretty great.
I'm not.
I know you
well,
care about
no.
your simps.
Well, okay, no. So this is the issue. You obviously just like don't understand what an actual like an actual study on this is going to consist of more than just like throwing out a survey.
You don't care enough. So
Okay, a
that's,
study. Okay, I'm gonna interject again. A study is not practical. It costs
Thank you.
millions of dollars.
Thank you.
None of us can afford it on our measly YouTube budgets. Even Kevin with his massive grift, all the money he's making, even that he can't afford it. So yeah, so
we got to steal from
here's what we can do instead. You must prove that I have malintent in some way, money, clout, something like that. And so what you need to do, we can just use our brains. We can just use some basic logic and see about whether or not that's actually going on. So let's start with money. If I wanted to make a lot of money, do you think I would be more successful in this space appealing to men like just Pearly Thing does, or pushing back against men? What do you think would make me more successful monetarily?
Could be both. Could be both. You just as a female, you have a higher success rate than men to go like viral.
That's not what I'm asking, and that's not a non sequitur. Would I be more successful if I appealed more to the red pill viewpoints and just peddled the talking trees of red pill, or would I be more successful pushing back against it to get money from men? What would be more successful?
Neither.
No, it's obviously being
obviously, in your opinion, it's obvious.
Because people like to give money to talking heads. If I walk down the dialogue tree and I'm a pretty attractive young woman who says everything every real red pill guy says, I am going to rake in the cash. This is not the only reason just Pearly is successful, but this is a major thing driving her success. And Roma Army as well. She's very similar in this style, that she really drives her content to walk down red pill dialogue trees. If I did that, I would be more successful, because I'm going to tell you right now, the feminists do not love me. All right. There's no money for me over there. Can you see how that would make sense?
No, not at all. Because you could be making money on the low. We wouldn't know. Look, we're just like right now.
Wait, from what?
Hold on. Let me finish. Mrs. Monologue Maxer, just relax. You'll get your monologues in. So what we can see of you is mainly on Alex's channel. Like, I mean, some people watch your shit. I'll be honest, I don't watch your shit. I heard you were, talking about me on your stream, and that's just because people told me. Other than that, I have no idea what you do. I just see you pop in here and there on Alex's platform. I'm just saying, you could be making money on the side. We wouldn't know. For all we know, this is what we see. People make a basis of what they can see. And that's what you're saying, the proof. It's all really subjective, because it depends who you ask. In your opinion, you might be a princess, fairy princess, you're doing nothing wrong. Other people might look at you a little bit different. Now, that's where the difference of opinions collide. Some people think, you're a great person, you did the right thing. Some people think the opposite. And that's true with everybody. So you do see where that's coming across.
Okay. So you just said a whole lot of nothing. So I appreciate that.
In your opinion, it's a whole lot of nothing.
Yes. In my opinion, it is. And in your opinion, you said a whole lot of smart things. Here's the thing. I can say that. This is, again, going back to the relativity argument. I can say that about anything, right? Isn't it true that some people like you, Greg, and some people don't?
Absolutely not.
Why doesn't your channel have more success then?
It does have more success. This that you think it's a smaller channel. Little do you know, I'm like big time famous. I just don't talk about it.
Really? Where are you big time famous?
That's for me to know, you to find out.
Okay, very magical.
What you tell me about your OnlyFans scheme, then I'll tell you where I'm big time famous.
I don't have OnlyFans.
How can you prove that?
You can look up my name in every possible way.
Well, what if it's not your name? What if you go by another name? You see what I mean?
It's possible. It's possible that this is great conspiracy. But again, if you're going to give me superpowers, then wouldn't you believe that if I have the fucking raw intellect, that my argumentation is so effective that I'm brainwashing Alex's viewers? If my intellect is so superior in that way, if I'm able to 8D chess people and have a secret OnlyFans that none of my viewers have ever found, none of these 700 people watching me right now have found, that would be fucking incredible. Which means I'm so impressive.
How many donations?
Probably more than you get on your YouTube channel, my friend.
I can't get donations because I'm not monetized.
Oh, how come you're not monetized?
Because I don't give a fuck enough. I do this for fun. I don't do this.
Okay, let me redirect.
This is fine.
Here comes the gaslighting and the condescending.
This
isn't gaslighting. This is being mean.
Okay, let Alex talk. I'm
gonna interject because this is this is derailing. Okay, let's get back. Let's get back to the malicious intent part. So
yeah.
you're making the claim, Greg, that she has some kind of malicious intent. Now, I don't think it's fair to say, well, you can't prove that you don't, therefore you must, right? People, you do this to me all the time. Well, Alex, you can't prove that Natty's not a paid actress. You're right. I can't really prove that, but that's not fair. So, like, I think what Erudite would like, and I think most people would like, is for you to like lay out your logical arguments for why she has malicious intent. But you can't just say like, oh, well, I don't. You can't prove that you don't have malicious intent, right? So that's not really.
No, I could lay out my opinions.
Okay,
They're all opinions.
Let's get into that. Let's get into that.
And that's why actually I brought up. Yeah, I got you. That's actually why I brought up this is all opinion based, right? Because there's going to be people that think you're a great dude, same thing, and then people think now the same. Going back to Kyla though, yeah, I just think the way she's like, projecting her views and some of her extreme ideas, like ideology and all that stuff. Like I know a lot of people disagree. It's not just me. I see the comments, and it wasn't on my video. I don't know why she thought it was on my video. It was on one of Alex's, and it was just like, why is she doing this? Why? Like, she offers nothing to the channel. And that's fair. Like, that's an opinion based. But I think just, the way she talks about guys and this, and I know somebody even said like that she always wants people to think she's the smartest in the room. That's very true, actually. She has to make it known. Like, if she had a dick, she'd be like, look, it's 10 inches. I'm waving it in the air, Yeah, that's why I think, like, that's where the malicious intent comes. Now, whether, you or whoever, like Kyla, thinks that is malicious intent, that's a different story. I'm sure you or your fan base, all those simps and everyone else, entitled making all those donations that people really care about because they don't. I mean, look at all donations Fresh and Fit is getting. Who gives a shit? They make way more than you and I combined, so I don't think that's completely irrelevant to the point. That's just you doing a flex. Like, I'm happy for you, but no one really gives a shit.
Okay. You good? Can I respond now?
Oh, I'm good. I'm great. Yeah, you can respond.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I don't want to interrupt you.
Okay,
cool. Okay. So if someone else doesn't think the way that you think, then it's the burden of proof is on you to prove why. If you're going to play willy-nilly with definitions to saying, well, I think she's malicious, but I'm not going to provide evidence. I'm not going to define the word maliciousness. And within my statement, I'm also going to bake in an easy like weasel out. You can do all these things, but just be aware that it makes you look fucking cringe. Okay. You see the comments. What does that even mean? You can go on, like, do you see the comments people make about Kevin?
It's brutal, bro. Like,
hold on. Do you see the comments that people make about Kevin, about Alex? That doesn't prove any of these things.
Shit, bro.
Sure. So the issue is that your proof of me being malicious is a bunch of YouTube comments, which you and I both know is very, very weak evidence, because that still doesn't prove my intent. That just proves that some people dislike me. And so if your whole thesis in this is actually just like, girl, some people dislike you, it's gonna be like, yeah, that's fair. That's what is called being on the internet. Of course, people dislike me. I would expect you. If you don't have an opinion, that's the best way to make sure nobody likes you. Then you say things like, she wants people to know that she's smart. How precisely do I do that? Because here's the thing. I get that very often from the most Dunning-Kruger fucks who don't know anything, and it's a big self-report. Exactly. It's a giant self-report where people think that I'm trying to be smarter than them, not because I'm trying to be smarter than them, because they don't understand the words that they use, and they're massively outclassed in the debate. That isn't me being condescending or trying to outsmart you. It just happens to be the case that I'm fucking smarter than you. That's it.
No, they're going by your tonality, how you're talking. Like,
even if I'm a raging bitch, I could still be smarter than you. You realize that the tonality has nothing to do with how smart I am.
It depends. You see what I mean?
No, it doesn't. How does tonality in any way map onto intellect?
You turn up your fucking grain in your mic. You're like,
my mic is the same.
I am smarter than you, like, bro. Like,
my mic has been the same the entire time. My mic has not changed. Have you even seen my hands touch my mic to change my gain? Have you seen it?
Yeah, dude, I don't need to see your gain. Everyone already knows your tactics.
Have you seen me change my gain in this entire? Yes, you do. If you're going to make claims, then you may as well have evidence. Otherwise, now here's what I'm going to do. What the fuck are you doing with your channel? What is with your ending that says, name the next person that you want me to do my hit piece on? So is your entire goal to be a small content creator who clout sharks off her larger ones by making hit pieces? Why the fuck would you even ask your audience who to do a hit piece on? Shouldn't hit pieces be generated by the fact that you've looked at somebody who's fucking inconsistent or like actually a bad faith actor, and therefore in your rage and passion and desire for justice, you write a hit piece. But instead you say, let me know what the next piece you want is done, which proves to me that there's something fishy going on with your channel. I wonder why you're asking for your audience who they want hit pieces on. Do you, if I suggested a smaller content creator, would you do a hit piece on them, or would you only do hit pieces on larger content creators?
I've done hit pieces on people that don't mean shit. Yo, Put a 1 in the chat if I triggered Kyla. You got like really, really heated for a second. That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your blood pressure? Maybe you should check your blood pressure right now.
So here's the thing. Somebody having emotion isn't a bad thing. Guys get mad all the time. It's exactly.
But let's
hold on. Do you think Allende is weak and pathetic because he got angry with me?
I don't know. I mean, he looks pretty strong.
He does look pretty strong. I don't think that he looks pathetic because he was angry at me. Do you feel that anytime somebody's emotional that it's some sort of weakness?
I don't know. You're saying it, not me. You're asking me.
No, I mean you said, look, she's so triggered. What are you implying with that?
That you're triggered. You
go, what does that mean?
Greg,
sure.
Like, bro.
Sure. Yeah, I'm frustrated with you.
I can tell. You're very frustrated.
Is that
You're
bad?
trying to mask it with sarcasm, but we can see.
I'm not masking it with sarcasm. I'm being blatant. I called you a Dunning-Kruger. I'm being aggressive. I'm not being masking.
Kruger, bro. Prove it.
Proving
Can you prove it? Can you prove it?
Yes, I'm calling you names. That means I'm angry at you.
No,
not
names.
Being aggressive.
Prove that I'm a clout chaser, Dunning-Kruger. It's all hypotheticals. You see what I mean?
It's not hypotheticals. It's a claim. You're right. I would need to prove
Smash TV or something. I don't know who your favorite black players are. Do you think my channel is like Smash or something? Is that what it is?
I don't know.
Do you think I'm like the Undead Chronic, the Undead Incel? Like, is that
I don't know who any of these people are.
Well, Undead.
All right, let's redirect back. We're going off on a massive off topic again. All right, let's get back to. I feel like the
video.
I feel like the malicious intent part is kind of a dead end. So I think we should move on.
Seems like it.
We can agree to disagree on that one.
Yeah,
we can agree that you presided
unless you want to add more. Unless you want to present a.
Arguing with her,
so okay, Greg. Let me give you an example. I'll try to help you out a little bit. So, for example, if I was arguing against Kyla and I probably would not take her up on the malicious intent is a really tough one. I would go with the condescending one. So I might say something like, "Well, listen, I noticed, Kyla, that whenever you're pressed on a point, as an example in the Allende debate, you basically start getting really condescending with the people, and you purposely get them riled up, and that is like your debate tactic." That's like an argument I might make if I was willing to take that argument. I probably would not reference the chat because the chat.
The chat is zero credibility. Yeah,
because the chat that's just the bandwagon fallacy. Like, it doesn't matter.
Erudite Sims will be on her side, and then some playing with fire people. Yeah, so it's like a bias,
So do you want to continue?
Anyone who agrees with me is a simp, and everyone who
do you want to continue with
the what people say about the Erudite Sims?
Do you want to continue with the malicious intent line, or do you want to move on to something else?
We can move on because with her, it's like just like I said.
Okay, let's move on to me being a sociopath. That's the next good one.
I didn't say it. You said it this time. I said it once.
You called me.
Why do you keep working on it? Okay, I want to add one thing.
No, stop. Okay, stop. Hold on.
No.
Can I just appeal to Alex? Alex, can the next thing that we go through be his claim that I'm a sociopath, if that's okay?
Sure, yeah, we can get
just before, because he's going to derail again with like this weird passive.
I'm not going to derail. I'm just saying, like,
all right, let's get into the sociopath stuff. Let's get into it.
Basically, like, the vibe she's giving off and just the way she's going is like borderline sociopath. I'm not saying she's a serial killer. Like, she's not going to be the next fucking, like, I don't know, that female fucking who chopped up the husband. I don't know. Let's hope not, for his sake anyways. So I mean, we wouldn't be able to know that, but a lot of those people, and again, the smartness, the this, that, just coming across, and I'm not even going to talk about the condescending because we already see it. Everyone sees it. You know what I mean? That's why I'm saying, like, sometimes it's like, talking to a wall, whether that wall says whatever, like she was saying, like, oh, you say a whole lot of nothing, like, in her opinion. I'm sure there's people that agree that it's something. There's going to be people that say it's nothing. I just think, like, the malicious intent is purely opinion based. It's my opinion. I feel like the way she reaches out to just people in general, not a good tone. Like, you could tell by the tonality, the getting loud, the interrupting, I'm not frustrated. But I guarantee if you take her blood pressure, it's probably going to be elevated. I mean, that usually.
We're checking right now, just to be sure.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I appreciate your concern about my health.
Oh, shit, that's awesome. Oh, do they do like the jabs and stuff too? You getting vaccinated? Actually, wait, no. You two might try to fucking. Never mind.
Funny medical joke. You do realize there's a pretty big gap between blood pressure and vaccines, right?
Yeah. There's a pretty big gap in between my pants too, but we're not going to talk about it. Anyways, so
again, that's more of a self-report for you than for me. But
that's how the OnlyFans took off. Anyways,
let me try.
I know I was going to get back on track. I just like saying entertaining things sometimes. It's me.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Okay, so your evidence that I'm a sociopath is basically the same evidence that I was a gaslighter and that I'm malicious, which is my tone. So
Yeah,
is all of
tonality.
this just literally that you don't like my tone?
No, actually,
You've provided no other evidence.
up. It
You've
is
just like been
evidence.
like,
The evidence
there's
is
no
you
proof that
talking.
you're not an
You are the
OnlyFans
evidence. You're the
worker.
walking, breathing,
Also, your
living
tone
evidence.
is mean.
You're literally the walking, breathing evidence. That's literally what it is. Your tone, the way you talk to people. In your opinion,
I'll baby steps you through this. What's a sociopath? Define it for me.
Well, I don't know the exact definition, but in my
What's
opinion,
yours?
I think it's somebody with pretty much like, okay, so the malicious intent, someone who knows that there's something off and they use basically whatever their manipulation to get something either out of someone or something for their own gain. They don't feel empathy. They don't like to show their emotion. And the only time they do show their emotion if it's something that benefits them. So kind of going off of narcissism, but doesn't always.
It's actually okay. I'll just step in.
Is that close? Yeah, because I don't know this.
Very easy. Sociopath is someone that can't tell a difference between right or wrong. You're thinking of a psychopath. A psychopath knows what they're doing is fucked up, and they don't care, and they're going to do it anyway.
Oh, okay, got you.
A sociopath doesn't know what they're doing is messed up because they don't even.
They don't know. Okay, got you. So that's okay. That's the missing link. Okay, I appreciate.
So if you want to change your argument to the fact that she's a psychopath, which is that you're allowed to do that, right? Because it sounds like that's kind of what more you believe. Or
you can walk back your claim. Go ahead.
I'm not walk back in my claim. I'm not walk back in my claim. I'm just going.
Okay, do you want to stick to sociopath then?
I will stick to sociopath. See, sociopathic laugh. That's the first evidence.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna stick to.
What was that laugh? Could you explain that laugh?
Well, it was so easy. Alex offered you a massive olive branch. He tried to help you out, bro, and he's like, "Let's do psychopath." And I literally inserted one joke at your insecure ass, and you're like, "Never mind, I'm not gonna do psychopath. I'm gonna prove that you're a sociopath now."
Nice. Thank you. I do squats.
Okay.
My ass is very nice. I know.
That's good.
My eyes are up here.
Please provide your evidence that I'm a sociopath.
Wait. So are you implying that you're a psychopath? Because why did you get excited? You're like, I finally know I'm a psychopath.
Because it was super funny how easy it was to just make you like it's just like you're just like so insecure, bro. Like literally the moment I was like, wait, so you're gonna back down from your original claim? It was like a dog with a sausage. I was like, are you gonna back down? And you're like, oh no, I'm not gonna back down. I know psychopath is probably the better argument, but now I can't back down. Can't let women win.
Wait, you
it's
froze.
just cute.
Okay, we can see you moving again. Wow, that's interesting. It's a whole lot of nothing. Good impression though. I like the movement. I'm gonna Kyle and Max. So
I'm sure this works super well for you in your professional life. Right? This is part of why you're super.
Let's get back to the debate instead of the meta debate. Okay.
The meta debate.
Do you wanna toss him another bone and just let him fight for psychopath because sociopath is
okay? Look, I'll try to give Greg an example. So if I was debating that fucking BMAC guy and I was trying to prove malicious intent, even though it is my opinion, you're right. Yeah. Some of the evidence I would present, I'd be like, look, dude. The evidence is this: that you have no game with girls, and that you're constantly pitching your coaching program. Therefore, you're trying to make money. And the fact that you're constantly trying to do like marketing shit, where you're saying, "Oh, I can only tell you 2 steps." So that's how I would say, in my opinion, that is pretty clear evidence of malicious intent, right? Which is why I think blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Well, no,
so that's an example of how I would make that argument.
Yeah, no, I get where you're coming from. It's just like with her, you got to get like a specific, like, I don't know. She likes to go into specifics. I just like the basics. I see shit, I'm going to call it out. Whether you think, for example, yes, you're laughing. And sociopaths definitely don't laugh randomly. I get it. It's so funny. It's just so hilarious.
No, but Greg, you do have to present like evidence.
Yeah, the evidence is what she said to Angry. I feel like that was very kind of like bad faith, what she said to Angry, like that's so sad. And you could tell, okay, another point of evidence. I'm just going back to that because that's the first thing that sticks out. His tonality after she said it to me, he's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. Like you could tell he was feeling some type of way. If anyone, people I think that are watching probably already know. If not, go look back. It was like 3 weeks ago during that segment you did where Angry came on. And just you could tell by his tonality, he was upset. So, like, you could already tell this guy was in a bad headspace. After what she said, he was like, no, it's not sad. And you could tell. He's like, no, it's so sad. You're a smart guy. Like, why would you say that?
So that sounds like an argument for why she's bad faith. So if you want, you can say, like, you can argue.
Okay, I will transition to that. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, what you said isn't really an argument for why she's a sociopath. It's an argument for why she's bad faith, which is totally fine. Sociopath is a pretty. You have to basically show evidence that she can't tell right from wrong. That's a tough.
Well, we're gonna have to get her a psyche val, but that's on her own time. Since you're so qualified, you can do your own psyche val. Not that you would rig it or anything. But yeah, let's transition into bad faith. I think she's extremely beyond extremely. I know she's gonna start laughing. Hold the laughter just for a second, and you can laugh. I think she's extremely bad faith. As people say, insufferable. It's not exactly my quote. I'm quoting someone else that you're insufferable. But yeah, I think you're so bad faith.
Why? And
Because
maybe
the way you
maybe we should do the game where you define bad faith.
the
before
game.
try
Oh,
to
you
prove
think
it.
this is a game? We don't play no
Well,
games.
Okay. Good
Yeah.
job.
Yeah,
Do
very
you
good
want
job.
to
Thank
define
you.
for me
Give me my
so
golden
that we
sticker.
understand that what the words are? What does bad faith mean to you?
Not to me, just in general. I think bad faith is when you're kind of like during an argument, you will try to give someone a low blow, meaning like the way you were talking to Angry, like you, even if you had good intentions, the way you came across to many, many people, and I'm sure people can argue about this later, you just came across as like, I don't really give a shit. I'm offering you some advice, but that's kind of sad. Even if it is, like, let's just assume a bunch of people think it's sad, right? I don't condone limb lengthening, right? Like, whatever. But, like, somebody already went through the trouble of getting that done. So you would think, like you said, he's insecure, whatever. And you're kind of just like, that's so sad. And you could hear it in the poor man's voice. No, it's not sad. You're like, no, it's so sad. Like, you think whatever you're saying has to go, right? Meaning you're correct no matter what. In that point for that segment, not in general. So no princess complex.
Okay. So in your view, bad faith is when you give somebody in an argument a low blow, correct?
Part of it. There's more to it. It's like part of it. So like low blow, you maybe insult them, whatever. You maybe kind of just try to use, I'll say dark triads. You know what dark triad is? Dark triad
I
tactics.
do know what dark triad is. Yes.
Okay,
maybe
good.
Yeah,
maybe. So give us the definition since you're the expert though. Give us the definition of dark triad, please.
Okay, so it's a really popular pop psych term. It's not really respected in the field. However, in pop psych, it tends to mean Machiavellianism, narcissism, and psychopathy.
Okay, good. So everyone knows. Okay, good. Yeah. So I pretty much.
You know what Machiavellianism means?
Machiavelli? No, but I know who Machiavelli was. I don't know if that's derived from.
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
actually
so it's based
derived
on the Machiavelli. So the guy who
What does that
faked his
mean?
own death, right?
I don't believe so. He wrote The Prince.
Yeah. Which Machiavelli are we talking? There's a couple Machiavellis.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
Go for
that's
it.
an
Define
aside.
it.
No. Hold on. I just want to focus on what you're actually saying. So
Okay.
you said during an argument is you give bad faith is when in an argument you give somebody a low blow and you use dark triad traits.
That's part of it. So dark triad, and I think it's when you're kind of you're in the wrong, like not necessarily you're trying to prove a point, but you're kind of trying to do anything you can to kind of like get your claim in. Like for example, like that guy's like, oh, like I spent this money. Be like, oh no, it's nothing. Like you can go to India, it's cheaper, whatever. But deep down that you think limb lengthening is wrong, which I do agree, it is wrong. I just think the way you came across to him, and that kind of backs up my bad faith argument.
Okay,
with angry.
So I'll work within your definition of bad faith then. So you basically during an argument, are you opposed to being mean to somebody?
Depends in what way.
Okay. Do you think like giving low blow or insulting people is okay?
I don't usually insult people to get my point across. I know that's something in your specialty, but I personally don't know.
Okay, so you would say that insulting
opinion.
somebody is bad faith. When you're saying low blow, you're meaning like insulting.
No,
somebody.
not quite. See, now you're twisting a little bit. I didn't say insulting someone is bad faith. I think when you're arguing or like during a debate and you're kind of using that to your own advantage in a way, maybe like that person's really insecure and you're kind of you're going off their insecurities. That's like what you're picking up. I mean, it's a tactic, but do I think that's good faith? Absolutely not.
Using their insecurities. Okay.
Are you taking notes?
Yeah, I always take notes when I debate people.
Oh, interesting. Note maxing. Okay, cool.
Yeah, if you want to track a conversation.
I don't know if she's Googling porn. We don't really know what she's doing, so I'm just kind of.
That is true, except my chat is literally watching me type into
I don't know if you want your stream flagged. Anyways, all jokes aside, let's get back to it. So
do you think in this conversation you've been good or bad faith based on your definition?
Nah, like in midi fade.
Okay, like so you don't think that you've come in and made multiple.
I can be good faith, but with you, I wouldn't be. Like I said the same thing.
Sure, I'm not asking if you want to.
Yeah. No,
I'm just asking if you think you are.
No, absolutely. You think I'm being good faith? Absolutely not. No. Terrible.
No, I didn't define. I asked what you're being. I said, "Are you
being
good
faith?" That's what I'm
faith
saying, and you heard me, right? Like, do I have to repeat myself? I didn't stutter.
I'm clarifying your position.
Yeah.
So you think that you're being bad faith in this conversation?
Not necessarily bad faith. I think I'm somewhere in the middle. Now, whether you think that's swaying more towards bad or good faith, that's on you. Like I said, it's all opinion based. It's all.
Do you think that you've made multiple low blows toward me?
not low blows, but I've pointed out a lot of stuff. I know you've made some low blows, which
Do you
is
think you've
fine.
tried to like point to my insecurities?
Not your insecurity. I don't know what your insecurities are. I'm not your behavioral therapist. We're not going by like how you
Wait, but
feel.
I have the magic power to know what other people's insecurities are?
Apparently you do. You work in that field. You were
Okay.
talking about superpowers a lot, so I don't know. Maybe you do have.
You're making me out to be this superpowered villain. That, like, to be honest,
You
I
could
don't
be.
know.
I mean,
I don't
someone
know
could
whether
be-
to be complimented or offended. I'm so good at arguing that I'm brainwashing Alex's chat. I'm able to play 8D chess and hide my OnlyFans account, which I don't know why I would
8D
do.
chess?
If
didn't
I
know you
have
were a
I have
chess player.
906 viewers, why the fuck would I hide my OnlyFans?
Are you in
account? If I
Hustlers
want to make money,
University?
wouldn't I just let people know? Anyways, I have superpowers to hide my OnlyFans account from everyone.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And I'm also able to discern people's insecurities to weaponize it against them to
You
win
said
the
it,
battle.
not me. You're saying it. Those are your words, not mine.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify.
I mean, somebody
appreciate
just
that,
said
Greg.
You look like an anime character. I wouldn't be surprised if you were a supervillain.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that, Greg. That's actually
I didn't
pretty
say
nice
it.
of you.
Somebody
I
said
don't
it.
I don't know if I would give myself that much credit, but I appreciate the compliments.
Sure, it wasn't me. It was coming from someone else that said it in the chat. But yeah,
okay,
no.
somebody else thinks I'm superpowered and stuff.
Whoever
Okay, that's fine.
said that she's an anime character, yeah, just whatever.
So your definition of bad faith is incorrect. That is not what bad faith is.
Give me
Would
your
you like
definition of bad faith.
Well, I'm not going to give you my definition. I'm just going to look on Wikipedia. Bad faith.
Okay, let's see the Wikipedia is a very trusted source. You should definitely look it up there.
Well, it's definitely going to be better than being mean to somebody is bad faith. I don't know if that's the definition you want to go by.
Change is a valid source all of a sudden. We got to just understand that. So okay, look it up. Let's do Wikipedia.
It's certainly better than yours.
You could have picked any fucking source, but you picked Wikipedia.
I'm using literally the lowest quality source, and it's still going to be a better definition than yours. Yeah. So here's what bad faith actually is. So bad faith is when you come into a conversation and you're intentionally either engaging in deceit or self-deception. So this means there's a couple of ways you could do bad faith. For example, it could be like associated with like hypocrisy, breach of contract, affectation, lip service. So one way that I could be really, really bad faith is by having like a weird view of you that's so far from the truth that I basically like self-deceive myself about something, and then I talk out of that position at you constantly. So a really good example of somebody doing bad faith with you is, for example, every time you make a statement, they'll basically straw man your argument to some position that usually offends them, right? So that's kind of what happened with me and Ayande. Everything I said, Ayande would just turn it into something that I wasn't really saying and that he was offended by, typically in a feminist leaning, right? So that's one way you can be bad faith. Or you can come into a conversation knowing full well that you are going to lie, you are not going to engage well, and you're going to misrepresent your interlocutor. That's how you be bad faith.
Okay, but I don't know why you pulled the Wikipedia, but that's
so fine. You can prove that I'm bad faith because your claim now you've walked back malicious, you've walked back the sociopath, you've also decided not to pursue psychopath, and now you need to prove that I'm bad faith.
I didn't walk it back.
We can ask the moderators afterwards, but
I mean, that's fine. Like I said, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Like, I'm not saying whatever Alex thinks is wrong, whatever Kevin thinks is wrong or right. Everyone's always going to have their opinions. That can be said with anything. But I think a lot of the times you are bad faith, whether, you're using your fancy terminologies and all the definitions. Good job. You did your homework. That's it. But other than that, it's like,
I used Google for like 2 seconds.
Wikipedia isn't really a reliable source, but okay. Let's
well, it at least cites its own sources. Your source is trust me, bro. Your tone feels mean, man. That's your source right now.
You could go into Wikipedia and change anything.
Okay, so you don't want to provide evidence that I'm bad faith. You just want to keep citing that I had a mean tone.
That was what I'm saying. Like your mannerisms.
You need to point to what?
Your interaction.
Yes.
What am I going to break down every single stream you've had and just be like, okay, in this moment, she was bad faith. Like, okay.
If you want an effective hit piece, you probably should. However,
I pulled that in.
So what you're saying is I am the evidence, which is basically you saying your tone and your behavior, which I've already said is your evidence. Do you have anything else to prove that I'm bad faith? Because to be honest, being condescending and being rude doesn't mean you're bad faith. It means that you're mean. And I've never pretended that I'm not mean.
Mean. Okay, on a scale of 1 to super psycho bitch, what would you rate yourself? Be honest.
I would rate myself like a 5. I don't think I go in super hard, but I'm pretty mean. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. Whoever.
Sure.
Okay. 5 is very optimistic out of 10. I'd give you like a 20, but
okay.
anyway,
What are you doing with this? Just move on to the actual argument. Like, do you not see that you're constantly derailing by just making just mocking me right now.
Yeah,
constantly,
I'm being a
constantly.
I'm literally being you. That's exactly what you do.
Then how is it possible that in this conversation I've stayed calm? I've taken notes on what you've said.
Wait,
I've clarified your positions multiple times, and I've asked for you to give me evidence for your claims. And somehow you're being me when all you're doing is insulting me. You're making some weird conspiracy that I'm an OnlyFans, also that I'm a supervillain and have superpowers.
Wait.
There's no way that you can act like this is good fit. Like this is going to circle the drain, and I'm going to be over this conversation soon because your evidence that I'm everything that you've claimed is that I use a mean tone. That says more about you, Greg, than it says about me. Maybe put on your big boy pants and get real about the fact that if you enter the dungeon with the big boys, get ready for the fact that people can be fucking mean to you sometimes.
That's crazy. Go for it.
Yes.
That's so
all right, I'm gonna try to help Greg. Okay, so one example I would personally give if I was debating Kyla of her being bad faith in this situation was during the Allende debate near the very end when she said that when she basically accused him of sexism, right? Which in my opinion was not what he was doing, but she kind of basically strawmanned a little bit of his personality. So that would be one example you could cite. I'd like since I gave this one to you, I'd like for you not to cite this one because I wouldn't.
No. I was actually.
That's an example of something you could cite to show her being bad faith. That's not going to mean though that she's sociopath or anything like that. But you could make the argument that is an example of her being bad faith. So here.
See, I didn't even watch that debate all the way through, so I couldn't cite it regardless. I mean, it's pretty much opinion based at this point. What I think is like whether everyone agrees or disagrees is that hold your horses. She claims she's not triggered. She's really triggered. I see how triggered you got. You're like that loser Greg made a hit piece. I know.
I've never said that I'm not triggered. I already told you that I was angry at you.
You're beyond triggered. That's good. I'm glad I
wouldn't say I'm beyond
she's
triggered.
Acknowledging that she's triggered. Yeah. There's no contention there.
Yeah.
Continue.
I know a lot of tension. I think this is really fun. Okay.
Sure. Do you want to turn this over to the judges soon? Because I actually don't know if I can keep going on with Dunning-Kruger time.
Wait, what was your blood pressure, by the way?
The blood pressure machine, I guess, doesn't have batteries. Or it's not working or something. I'm not sure.
I got you. Listen, we can. Okay. So, and this, okay, real quick, I want to point something out. In the beginning, Alex said that me and Erudite would agree on 90% of things. And that was proven to be a lie. Not like on your part. I didn't think you were lying on purpose, but that's all I was saying. We disagree on a lot of stuff. So,
do you think that this debate is a better show for your character or mine?
Neither. You know why? And I'll tell you why. Yeah, it is nice because
I said yikes. I said yikes.
Good.
Yeah, the lack of introspection. Do you want to? Let's do the last claim. You claim that I've had multiple sexual partners. Would you like to provide evidence that I'm cheating on my husband?
Tapping. Just like, okay, I'm not going to go into it because there was another person that claimed to be a virgin here, and there's a theory she's not, but whatever. So we can't prove that for a fact, but I highly doubt it. Like, do you
not see the problem with that? What's the evidence for that?
Like I said, are you willing to be flying out for a lie detector test? That's the only evidence. If we want to grill you, we have to literally do a lie detector test.
Sure. First of all, I would agree to it because I'm not lying about my I'm not lying about my body count.
There's two theories with that. Either one.
Wait, what points do you think I get by having a low body count? Especially when every time I talk about it, I don't say it as a good thing. A lot of
people think you're capping, but that's just from
that's literally a non sequitur. I asked you what points do I get from the audience by talking about my low body count as a bad thing specifically?
No, I didn't say it was a bad thing. I was saying you can use
I say it's a bad thing. Listen, I say it's a bad thing.
You think it's a bad thing that you have one body count?
Yes, it has done more harm to me than good. Well, if you've listened to my arguments, I've said a low body count in a woman isn't all it's cracked up to be. Specifically, women who have lower body counts are more likely to do so because of the shame that is introduced to them, typically in more religious cultures. And what we see in religious relationships is that women who have high levels of shame tend to orgasm very rarely and have very high rates of vaginismus compared to the general population. And this is why I've said a low body count and the societal pressures required to have women to have this low body count isn't all it's cracked up to be.
Is that coming from your own beliefs? Like, are you projecting?
This is coming from evidence. Well, vaginismus stats.
Where's the evidence?
Have you ever heard of something called Google Scholar?
Google. I don't do Google Scholar. I'm asking where the evidence is.
Yeah, so
Are you
I'm
doing a
walking you
study?
through how to find it. Yes,
No,
it's
I know how to
research.
find it. I just don't care for it that much.
Okay, so the vaginismus stats and orgasm stats is from research.
Orgasm stats. Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just think like, dude, I call cap regardless. We're not going to prove whether it's not about your body count. That was just a little.
So you
thing
didn't
the
come in here
puzzle.
to actually interlocute with me or have your positions changed. You came in here to basically meme and troll and be mean to me because you don't like me because my tone upsets you.
This is exactly what I was talking about.
But you don't have proof for anything. Here's a pro tip. I wouldn't be in the hip piece. I don't know if hip piecing is your future. You're pretty bad at it.
Well, it's gonna be. I'm gonna keep hip pissing you and literally pissing on you. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously triggering you. I can tell you're very triggered. I feel like that's all.
I've already said that I am upset.
Good.
I also told you that's fine.
So you can kind of see how Angry felt when you were talking to him. You can see how the other people.
Do you think that I was talking to Angry like you are talking to me right now?
You were worse with Angry, bro. I mean,
then you need to rewatch it and then watch yourself.
It's not even about watching; it's just listening to his.
If you unironically think that I was worse to Angry than you are being to me now, you're insane.
Dude, you're projecting really.
You can
hard.
ask Alex. Alex has been communicating with him afterwards. It's possible. Okay. Just to be clear, I'm not pretending like Angry wasn't upset. Yeah, it's very possible.
Upset. You triggered.
I don't care about upsetting people all the time.
See?
Okay, I'm gonna step in.
I know this is a good shit show. I
Greg,
think it's really fun.
I like you, so I want to take your side. I mean, I also like Kyla, but
no, it could be like
the thing is that I'm going to be honest and just say how I feel. I feel like the crux of your argument is that I don't like Kyla, which is fine. You don't have to like her. I'm sort of confused why you don't like her as much, but like a lot of the claims you're making. Okay, so let me try to give you an analogy. So this is like when people say, Alex, I think your girlfriend is secretly a prostitute and you're paying her money. And I'd be like, okay, well, what's the evidence for that? They're like, well, what's the evidence that she's not a prostitute?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just like intellectually.
Yeah, I don't think you hate Kyla.
So you're basically saying like, what's like? She's like, okay, what's the evidence that I've cheated on my husband? You're like, what's the evidence that you haven't? It's like, what can she even provide? She could say, Greg, I think you're secretly gay, and you're like, what's the evidence? You're like, well, what's the evidence?
The guy bro's
like,
evidence.
What's the evidence that you're not secretly gay?
Yeah.
That's just like not a good argument to take.
Yeah, no, I get it. I don't think you hate Kyla. I think you guys are really good friends. I just see a lot of negative.
No, of course I don't hate Kyla.
Nobody said that.
I figured. No. That's
no, we're talking about you, Greg.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I despise the shit out of her, and she hates me. That's all I'm saying. I don't
know if she hates you per se, but
I don't have the energy to hate you, Greg.
Well, you got super triggered. I'll take.
Yeah,
that.
you're annoying, but that doesn't mean I hate you.
Triggered. I think she's she's an acknowledgement about that. I don't think she's like.
Well, I know. I know she's rage for like Allende. Yeah. No, I mean she comes across as annoying too, and that's why I think like the best thing is to agree to disagree. Like because it's literally just like all the people that like her, or even if you guys think that she's in the right, that's cool. I respect that. I'm open to everyone's beliefs.
Did you change your mind on anything about Kyla from this debate, Greg?
No, not at all. I still think the same.
But do you see how like an absence of counter evidence isn't proof? Like
it would be hard to pull this. I feel like the best way would be like to get a lie detector test, but obviously that's not going to. You know what I mean? Because like you could say a whole lot of whatever and just be like, yeah, but this.
Okay. If we do, let's pretend we do this experiment. We do a lie detector test. What do you think specifically Kyla's lying about? Like, what are we going to ask her?
The malicious intent and the fact that she wasn't trying to either indirectly or directly trying to upset people in her qualms, especially Angry with how she talked to him. I could tell he got really upset. I just thought that wasn't really
cool. If Kyla doesn't think she has malicious intent, she might still have the malicious intent, but if she doesn't think she has it, she will pass the lie detector test.
Yeah, but that's
not really the best.
That's why you prove that I have malicious intent.
Yeah,
it's evidence.
To like cite examples and
there's
evidence.
Proof goes a different way. To prove something that's like obviously you see someone commit a crime, that's proof. There's camera evidence, right? Proof comes in different sources. I mean, if you want me to hire a freaking private detective and go after her, maybe I'll find something, but I don't got that much.
You realize that this is silly. Like you look very silly when you
think it's silly. In your opinion,
no.
I look silly.
I'm going to be honest with you. Everyone watching
that's not exactly
feels like you're silly too.
Everyone in Kyla land, the Kyla Simps, right?
Yeah, the 920 Kyla Simps.
Greg. Greg, I'm curious. So you keep bringing up her conversation with Angry. So how should she have handled it in your view?
I think
because you said that you're okay with having a problem with the limb lengthening.
Yeah,
thing,
I
right?
mean, I do agree that that's not like what guys should be wasting money. I think personally, and this is how I would have handled it, right? She obviously thinks different. I would have been like, even if I'm thinking like that's sad, I wouldn't have said that. I've been like, hey man, like maybe that wasn't the best investment, but you know what? If it works, it works. Like I would have tried to have been like, if you're happy, so be it, right? Like, kind of like, yeah,
but here's the thing. I don't want to argue for Kyla, but like when we're doing this stuff, we have thousands of people watching, right? So if you say something like that, you might be condoning that behavior for other people to influence
100%.
them to also get limb lengthening surgery. You know what I mean?
but
Like maybe a one-on-one conversation might make sense, but we have other people listening,
No, I get what you're saying, but I'm saying like people are going to do what they want regardless. Like they see it, you know what I mean? Just because you say or don't, like someone's going to do it, you know what I mean? Like kid sees candy, mom, let me get the candy. No, we can't have it. No, but if it's right in front of them, yeah, I mean, now I'll be honest, and most people will not go for limb lengthening. Expensive, you know what I mean? Like you guys already know, like it'll fuck you up. You got to be wheelchair bound for like 6 months only to gain a few inches when you could be improving other aspects of your life. But yeah, some people get in their head. So in theory, it might help them. I could see both ways, Kevin. You're definitely entitled to your own opinion. You know what I mean?
Greg, it seems like what you really believe is that Kyla's kind of a bitch and then she's mean. But it doesn't really
there's more to it. There's more to it.
It doesn't seem like you actually believe that she's a sociopath.
I do actually have a theory that she is, but it's my opinion. Like I said, this is opinion based. Whether people want to believe it or not, that's fine.
Well, because the examples you give are examples of her being a bitch, but they're not examples of her being a sociopath. That's what
you don't think her kind of saying to what's his face to Angry is like, oh, that's so sad. Like, yeah, it's bitchy, but it's kind of like I think that's dark triad in my opinion.
I don't know if that. Yeah, I don't think that's proof that she can't tell right from wrong.
Well, there's more. I just didn't study enough.
But what if she genuinely thought it was sad? Because I think it's sad too.
Yeah,
if you're 5'10" and you need to go get limb lengthening surgery because you've been watching too many black pill videos.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, black pill is very toxic. That's why I'm not black pilled. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just think that was bad faith, in my opinion. So I say my opinion. You know what I mean?
So sociopathic or bad faith?
Both.
Magical.
Very magical. Yeah.
Definitions can be whatever I want them to be. My name's Greg.
Oh wait, you're Greg? Really? That's crazy. I remember having a twin. Wow, that's fucking wild. There's two Gregs on the screen now.
Good one, Greg.
It is a good one. I know. Thank you.
That was interesting.
I thought it was really fun. I knew, let me say this, I knew it was going to be crazier than the Coach White Pill one. I think that one's going to be kind of just boring as fuck. I knew this one.
Greg, we got to do some training before the Coach White Pill.
No, I pretty much have the proof of Coach White Pill. And the only issue I will say, and this is what I don't like about him, when he says we're not going to talk about it, when I specifically say what like I'm referring to like the evidence, he's going to say we're not going to talk about that.
Well, it's my stream, so I'm
okay.
judging who.
If he starts doing that too much,
I am going to be fair.
Okay, gotcha.
Take notes for your white pill debate.
I don't need
Greg, I can help train you in the debate because
Coach
White Pill and I used to debate all the time, and
I know you got some insight on him, Kevin.
But it's why he's afraid to debate me too. He's like, I'll debate anybody except.
You know what's funny about that? I can't bring you up, so if I say that, I'm going to get canceled.
Let's give Greg feedback. Would you guys say that he did well in this debate, or do you guys think that he?
Greg, I love you, but no. And here's one constructive thing I would say. Okay, so like when you come in with accusations, especially very specific things, you have to make sure that you have a good understanding of what those terms mean, or else your opponent can flip that back on you, which is kind of what happened here. So here's another thing too. Is like I have beef with this guy. I guess he's beef with everybody, but Black v Silver, he made like he talks about gaslighting, but he doesn't understand what it is. Same thing with narcissism. So actually, he made a hit piece on you too, Kyla. So I think maybe Greg, maybe.
Well, I'll be honest. I did get ideas from Black v Silver, but I had my.
I think that's the problem. Think that's the problem because he doesn't really know. Because according to him, I have.
I don't trust everything Black v Silver says. He doesn't like me for something like I forget what it was. I think because I said something. Oh, because I was backing up Caduceus, so he was like, yeah, but
yeah, no, I get that, but I'm saying like when you bring up these like especially. I guess psychological terms, make sure that you're getting them from good sources, or else somebody else they'll call you out on that. And then the optics of that just doesn't look very good.
Yeah,
No, I agree.
I like you too, but yeah, this one.
No, I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of issues. You got better at the speed dating, so you could get better at the debates. But yeah,
I don't.
It felt like you were like playing a character instead of like just like
Yeah.
honestly engaging. I don't
You
know,
think?
like.
Well,
Yeah,
I was
that's
kind of
really
trying
what-
to match the intensity. No, Archbishop said it really well. Hold up. Greg was aggressive on purpose because otherwise her passive aggressiveness, the way she does everyone else, would have rolled right over him. So Archbishop kind of has a point with that. But yeah, I'm not, I kind of had to go that route.
I'll give you a pro tip. Don't take your debating ideas from chat. I'll give you
Oh,
a
but
pro
I
tip on
will.
that one.
If it's going to trigger you more,
Okay.
I will do it.
It's not about triggering me, but
It
go
is
off,
about
King.
triggering you. Yeah.
I mean, the biggest tip I would have for you is like actually write out your arguments and like,
Yeah, I
okay,
could've,
my
but I
argument
was like-
is she's a sociopath. Here's the evidence that I'm going to cite. But when it's like, okay, what do you think? Why do you think I'm a sociopath? It's like, well, how do you know that you're not? Like,
Yeah.
that's not convincing arguments. So you do need to have like
Yeah.
examples and shit.
Yeah, interesting. No, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I had fun. I don't give a fuck. I thought it was cool.
It was
I didn't
just-
rage quit like Allende. I thought it was a blast. So whatever.
that part was good. Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah,
well,
spicy.
no one can do worse than BMAC. So
No, I know BMAC. I was gonna say something about BMAC too. Yeah, that guy is something.
Bro, you were worse than BMAC. You're
I bet I
doing
was.
something harder.
Yeah, I bet. And I could see you're gonna subscribe. to
Like
OnlyFans
the 18
after
levels
this.
of cope going
Yo,
on
guys,
here is
collab.
is
Kyla and Greg on
impressive.
OnlyFans coming soon. Stay
no,
tuned.
I think BMAC like
Greg, I'd actually appreciate if you don't make like weird sexual comments.
Wait, are
about
you
and
actually
I.
trans? I'm curious because my uncle's watching this. He wants to know.
Come on,
Formaxer?
stop, dude, stop.
Well, no, he's in the comments right now.
I don't stop. Come
Yeah.
Are you embarrassed?
No, I'm not. I'm just curious.
Okay.
Is that a no? Okay, that's a no. Sorry, Hormaxer. She's off the menu. But yeah, no, all jokes aside, I had fun. I thought it was a cool debate.
Do you
I
feel
would
like
be
okay, Greg? Do you feel like
embarrassed.
you've okay? Usually, typically, people move after a debate. Greg, do you feel like you hate Kylo a little bit less after this debate?
No, I'm still the same. Like even didn't go up, didn't go down. Like middle.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Kyla, do you hate Greg a little less or more after the or dislike is a better word after this debate?
Greg is like a lodged stone in my shoe that I've picked out. I do not give a fuck about Greg.
Okay.
Like I literally I don't know if you're playing a character. I don't know if I believe you that you're not embarrassed. Like I think you're showing
I'm
here was
chilling, bruh.
so
You
pathetic.
can ask my
But
uncle Hormaxer.
I could be wrong. Like I'm not even upset. I'm literally astounded at
No
this point
upsetting?
of either I'm being like hardcore trolled, and after we disconnect, Alice is gonna be like, "Okay, so I plotted this.
He did
Didn't
plot
you get
it.
the
No,
good
he didn't.
content?" But she's saying he didn't. But if
Yeah.
you're not playing a character, bro,
How would you know if I'm playing a character?
Yikes.
Can you prove that I'm playing a character?
I didn't
Oh wait,
say
sorry.
that.
The debate is over. My bad. My bad.
Okay, you're still not understanding how this stuff works. I
No
said
one's gonna
if
ever
you're
understand
not
that.
playing a character, then you should be embarrassed.
This funny as shit.
Yeah.
Characters.
Uh,
I'm sure
no,
she
no.
has a lot of characters in her head.
That was
Uncle Hormaxer
that was
one.
definitely an interesting. That was definitely an interesting debate.
Absolutely.
You know, the funny thing is,
Hmm.
Kevin, tell me if you agree or disagree with this. I think like these two like don't even really have any substantial disagreements at the end of the day in terms of like the release. Like they agree on like 95% of shit.
It's like a toxic boyfriend argument.
You know how I know that? Because me and Kyle agree on like 98% of shit, and me and Greg agree on like 100% of shit.
I would
So
say 95, but pretty close. There's like
okay, pretty close. So
I think
therefore,
what ends
we
up-
we agree on a
agree
lot
like
of stuff, Alex.
90%.
I will give you that.
Yeah, I think what ends up happening, because this has happened to Kyla, it's happened to me. I think it's happened to you in a way too, Alex, even with your own chat. But I think a lot of people start attacking. Kyla brought this up earlier. They start attacking a straw man of who they believe you to be. And then when you actually have a conversation, you end up realizing that, oh, they don't actually believe these things. You know, it's something that happens with the internet all the time. Is really annoying. So that's why I like having debates like this,
Yeah.
because then you can usually clear the air and ideally, if people are
Yeah.
acting in good faith, you understand the other person's position better.
Oh, definitely. I agree with that. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, cool. All right, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
Oh no, it was fun. Peace out, guys.
All right, I'll see you for
Later,
the
bro.
coach Michael bit. Take care.
Wait, yo, Alex.
When is
real
that?
quick.
When is that?
Yeah, I was
Uh,
gonna say Wednesday
think-
or any way we can do Thursday. You know if he's around.
I'll have to get back to you on that.
All right, yeah, let's see. Okay, got you. Because all right, bet. All right.
You want me to help prep you for that, Greg?
Honestly, I would say yes, but I'm literally not allowed to mention you. So like,
It doesn't matter. I've beaten Coach White.
No,
if you watch my streams, Coach White and I debate all the time. He always gets destroyed.
I can't ethically prep you because I'm the moderator, but you should have.
No,
Kevin
you're
prep
fine.
you.
I mean, with Coach Whitepill, it's definitely different. I already have
Kevin
evidence.
prep you.
I've proved
Kevin
it.
prep you.
Yeah, I'm sure. Wait, are you one of his students, Kyla? That makes sense now. But yeah,
I actually have no idea who this person is. I'm just saying.
He's
Kevin
Johnny
prep you.
Sins. He's the banana Johnny Sins. But yeah, yeah, no, I got you. Yeah, just I can't mention KRW, but yeah, just let me know, Alex. You know,
all right, cool. We'll do.
Hey, peace out, guys.
All right, dude. Have a good night.
All right, later, brother.
All right, that was.
You promise that you didn't have that as a troll?
I promise this was not troll.
Okay.
I think he was.
You guys are too nice to your own viewers. That was so cringe. Come on.
It was definitely not his finest performance. Well, as a moderator, I couldn't really like weigh into my opinion like during the debate, but it was not his finest performance. I think I think this is only like the second or third debate he's ever done. I think he doesn't really understand how to debate, and he thinks it's mainly like, this is a common misconception, like as long as you don't back down and you don't backtrack from a point, then like therefore you win, which is why he wasn't willing to like move around his positions. But I think it's actually better to realize that your position is wrong and take a position that you can easily defend. It's much easier to make the case that Kyla's condescending or that Kyla's bad faith than that Kyla's a sociopath or Kyla's lying about her lake count. Like, those are really fucking hard things to prove, especially when you have zero evidence. So
I think what you pointed out, Kyle, I think the problem was that he was kind of he probably looks at YouTube chats too much and then formed his opinion about you based on that. And that's probably not just a good way to win debates. I will say this though, because it's like, okay, I'm not attacking you when I say this, Kyle, because I'm pointing the finger to myself too. I think what ends up happening sometimes, especially like when we're speaking from a place of authority, from the standpoint of like we're speaking to an audience, and people don't get it. At least for me, I have to check myself, and I've gotten called out for this, and I denied it before, but rightfully so now. Like sometimes I end up having contempt for the people that disagree with me, and then that makes me be condescending toward them. I'm not saying that you're necessarily guilty of that, but I know for me that temptation's always there. So maybe he might have a point there. I don't know. Have you thought of that before?
I tend to be condescending towards people that have pretty much demonstrated that they will not be good faith with me, because then at this point there's no point in me doing anything else other than being mean to them, in my view. So like with Allende, for example, I know that you cite the sexism as evidence of bad faith. It could have been, but then in his next breath, he proved that he was being sexist in that moment, because he turned to Nick and said, "Go control your women." Right. So it's like that is a sexist thing to say. And so I meant it mostly as like a bit of a bad faith dig. And then it ended up being true. And so it's like, yes, I do get condescending in debates, particularly towards like people who can't like keep up on any level. And so like, to be honest, more of my takeaway is like, maybe I won't engage with these people as often, like if they're going to be this bad faith, because there's nowhere for me to go. Like Allende and me, I genuinely think that he thinks that I'm like a feminazi, and it seems like everything I say he hears from the lens of a feminazi, and I'm not. I don't believe in a lot of this stuff. And so in the case of Greg, I mean, of course I was just being mean. Like there was nothing else to do but put on a show at this point. So that's often how I approach it. If you're so bad faith that it's like there was no movement that will happen here, I just go mean.
Well, that's one way to approach it. Just one of the reasons I'm bringing that up, because I've been doing a lot of like reflection on this myself. It's like, okay, well, you might wonder why a lot of the chat and stuff really hates me. I'm sure they have their own reasons, but I think a big reason too is because a lot of them felt like I was honestly like they got destroyed. Honestly, I don't know how else to put it. And then so a lot of times when you have debates with somebody, and then at the end of it, if they feel like embarrassed in any way, then they end up building more resentment for you. It becomes irrational. And then I think that just breeds the negativity of the internet. You know, I'm not telling you what to do, but I think maybe it's something to consider. Because I know destroying people is fun. Like it's fun. It is, but I don't.
So my goal isn't to destroy. Like the issue is, what do I do with Greg? Like I came in actually decently like level. I didn't come in like super aggressive. And like he from beginning to end did nothing but call me names, postulate really weird theories about me, just be bad faith, basically never answer anything, didn't actually have any claims to make. He just felt some sort of way. And that was it. How do I engage with that?
I can tell you what I would do, calmly redirect. So if you watch my Annalisa debate, I did that for 4.5 hours because she's pretty fucking bad faith too. But yeah, I would be like, okay, let's stop for a second. Right now, you're just calling me names. You're not providing any evidence of me being bad faith. Can we stop with the names? Can you provide some evidence? Right? Just constantly redirect. At some point, people run out of gas, and like you're just a more patient person. They're like, okay, I don't have any evidence of you being bad faith. Okay, cool, that's fine. Let's move on to the next one, right? So just calmly redirect over and over and over and over again. It just requires massive amounts of patience.
Possibly. I'll be honest, this level of bad faith engagement I've only ever experienced with like kind of the red pill space. I tend to be actually kind of notorious for being like exceedingly good faith, exceedingly patient. And I don't even go full gloves off when I'm mean to these people either. Like I could go in harder and I choose not to. The only person I've ever been like full on gloves off, like wrathful towards, like probably unhinged level, was the Crucible's wife, Rachel. Because I fucking hate that woman with a fiery I loathe her stupid face. And Andrew.
Oh, wow.
Those are the
That's
only
fire.
people. Oh yeah, absolutely. And they know this. Like these are the only people I've ever been like this nasty with. And so it's like, I suppose I could handhold everyone to get them to a better space, but it feels like if they're going to be criticizing me of condescending, because the reality is like there's a couple things. Number one, I do think I go into condescension pretty often. Number two, I do think there's an element like if a girl gets aggressive, I'm going to have a more annoying voice. Like if Alex gets aggressive, they're going to say that he's being like aggressive and mean, right? If I get aggressive, they're going to say that I'm being bitchy or condescending typically. Some of that is because of how like we engage. Some of that is also just like tone of voice. Like women sound like they're nagging when they're aggressive more often than men do. I don't know if my solution is to handhold them, because if anything is actually condescending, it feels like handholding you into being able to manage the conversation is the most little broing I could possibly do. So maybe I just need to little bro these people and treat them like basically like you're a retarded child and you need me to hold your hand through this conversation. But I haven't been doing that because I felt like that would be the wrong approach. But maybe
I
that is
agree.
the right
I don't
Well,
think
the
that's
question is, this is the question you have to ask yourself. Do you want to change people's minds, or do you want to get a quick W on the internet? If the answer is the latter, then keep doing what you're doing. But if the answer is the former, you actually want to change people's opinions, then yeah, you do have to be like insanely patient.
Do you think Greg is somebody's opinion that I will ever change?
Anything is possible. I've changed people's opinions who are like way more animos towards me than Greg. I've had people come in so hot, and sometimes I can change their opinion. Yeah,
I think.
But the problem is that here's what happens. So he has Greg doesn't like you. He has this opinion of you that you're just poopy pants and you're like mean and you're blah blah blah. I personally don't think you're any of those things. I think you can be condescending at times, but I think you generally mean well overall. But he has this opinion, and so as the debate heats up, even though you start off like really tame, as you actually get into some of the condescension, right, that reinforces his belief, and then he just sticks to it more. But if he has an interaction with you, and it's like, well, this girl is actually like really fair. She was really nice to me. She's really chill. She even tried to help me create my point. Maybe I'm off about my opinion. And then they start to question their own beliefs.
Sure. That's true, but that means that I need to treat him like a wounded animal. Like it's like, oh yeah, he is lashing out and he is being irresponsible, but he's just a sweet. I don't know if I'm at the point yet where every interlocutor who's bad faith, I want to treat like a wounded animal, because to some extent I expect more from people. I don't think every guy that I debate in this space is just some pathetic wounded animal. I think they're more than that. And so it's like, I can handhold them, and maybe that's the place that I need to get to. But this is why I hold back from that, because I don't like the idea. Like I think there's nothing actually more condescending than treating another person like a wounded animal.
I totally agree.
There are times you need to do it, just to be clear. Yeah, there are times you need to do it for sure. I don't know, like with Annalicia, I don't know if I'd want to, like, I haven't seen her guys' debate. I don't know if I think that treating her like a wounded animal is the right response. Like sometimes it's like play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Like I'm not going to convince Greg, but I am going to make Greg look silly in front of everyone who's watching, right? I am going to like convince people who are watching me. So this is like the weird dialogue that I'm constantly doing, especially in the online space. If this was private one-on-one with Greg, yeah, I would want to convince Greg, and I probably just would treat him like a wounded animal. In an online space, you have more responsibilities, like a public talking head to some extent. And sometimes like you kick the hornet's nest and you get stung, essentially.
Yeah, I think it's more so just the danger is having contempt for people. Again, this is something that I've started to kind of notice for myself, and it's like, you don't necessarily have to treat them like a wounded animal, because I agree, like having pity for somebody is actually a form of contempt. It's actually like you looking down on them. But I think it's more so if they get the feeling, oh, well, I got embarrassed and I'm just like this low piece of shit because I got embarrassed, rather than saying, okay, maybe the alternative would be, oh, well, right now you're here, but you could be so much better, right? You're better than this, man. I don't know who you are, but you're capable of doing better. I'm more speaking to myself than I am just to you right now.
Yeah, Kyle, didn't you say when I asked you about the fresh and fit thing, and I was like, why didn't you call them out harder? Your exact words were, well, yeah, but that would, make them shut down. What I want to do is like actually get them to change their mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on a really large platform. Absolutely.
Right. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like.
I don't know if I want to change Greg's mind. I don't know if I care.
Well,
is it just because he has less clout?
Why is the fresh and fit audience more special than Greg? Like,
because the fresh and fit's audience is super ingratiated, and I was also coming into their domain. So it's like first of all, respecting house rules. I think if I'm coming into somebody else's space, I tend to be way more like hesitant, and it's possible. Maybe the case is I just need to treat all of these guys like wounded animals. The issue is, if I do that, a lot of them are going to fucking hate me for it.
Well, would you consider what you did with Myron, like to be treating him like a wounded animal? Because I think your method with fresh and fit,
Myron wasn't bad faith with me ever.
That's a miracle in of itself. Okay, Kyle.
He was never bad faith with me. This is the issue. Myron was never. Greg came in being bad faith. Ayunde, I actually was pretty patient at the beginning, and I was good faith until it was like exceedingly clear that nothing I said, he was actually going to hear what I was saying. He was just hearing what he like felt like I was saying. And at that point, like the reality is, like with Myron and Fresh and Fit, part of it is I had Destiny to bounce off of. But yeah, it's like, for example, the guy who was sitting beside me, he was super bad faith with me. There wasn't many interlocutors in exchanges between us, especially because it tended to be like turned to the side. So I don't think the mics picked it up. But there was multiple times where I was like, that's fucking stupid. Like I was pretty harsh with him, but he was being really, really bad faith with me. Myron was never bad faith. Neither was Fresh. They were excellent faith.
That's a miracle in of itself. Kyle, okay, let me ask you this question. Do you think most people are your intellectual equals?
For the most part, yeah. Not in like the areas where I'm specialized, but yeah, I think for the most part.
I don't. I think I've said this before. It's not a popular opinion, but I think most people are fairly dumb. Not making a claim about anybody, but I'm just saying, like, I think most people are not that smart, and I do think that most people do require a little bit of like TLC, so as to speak. So yeah, I don't know.
I agree with that.
You might be overestimating people, honestly.
Yeah, and here's the thing. If somebody's even offering me like an element of like at least neutral faith, I'm just good faith with them. Like almost always. The issue is when they start lashing out and misrepresenting me to the point where I can't get out of it, they won't hear me. What do I do?
I don't want to like Bible thump here because I'm not Christian.
Constantly
like,
redirect.
Yeah. Like, what do you think of the concept of like turning the other cheek? Because I've been thinking and studying that a lot lately and talking to my dad about it because he's Christian. I think it's a very powerful way to interact with people of like, okay, well, if people are being really bad faith with you or they're like flinging shit at you, your natural temptation is to take the shit and fling it back, right? And then you feel really powerful afterwards. But again, speaking from experience, I've developed a lot of haters doing that mentality. And from the standpoint of like, I don't think it's like really productive because I think the point of debate is, like Alex was saying before, is to try to like find middle ground and to really make sure that you both understand each other. If the other person starts to resent you, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm curious what your stance is on that as like a Christian of like turning the other cheek.
I don't think turn the other cheek means put up with maximal abuse and keep being kind until they come around to you. I don't actually think that that's what turn the other cheek means. What it means, though, is that if Greg came in tomorrow and was like, hey, I actually want to have a good faith conversation, or was just like literally just normal faith with me, I would just engage with that. I wouldn't hold the last conversation.
In Greg's mind, he had a good faith debate. That's the thing.
Well, sure. that's the self-delusion is a bit of an issue. Like there's nothing I can do about that. But let's say for whatever reason, even if he thought he was good faith now, if the next conversation he came in and he just like wasn't making constant undercutting comments, wasn't mocking my voice within literally a minute of coming into this conversation, yeah, I would just be good and neutral faith with him.
But I don't mean just like be ultra kind. You can call that shit out without engaging in it yourself. Be like, hey, you're doing a lot of personal attacks. Why is that? Like, can you stop with the personal attacks? I haven't personally attacked you. Like, you can call that shit out over and over again. Be like, okay, this is the third time you've referenced personal attacks. Are you going to keep doing that, or what's the deal? Or we're going to have a real discussion?
Well, the tricky thing was the whole discussion was personal attacks to some degree as well. So yes, like you said, I could have been more calm and nice from the beginning. I don't think I was unfairly. I was actually quite calm multiple times.
Yeah, I do think that. Yeah, you think you were calm. I'm just talking about, like, we're not talking about like from a perspective like you fucked up. We're talking about from a perspective of like, okay, how to deal with these types of situations in a more optimal way.
Sure, but I can be perfectly beyond reproach every single time. Possibly. That might be a better alternative. The issue is at what cost?
I don't know. It just depends on your like mental psyche and shit. Like, I'm quite unique in the sense that I could just take a lot of shit and just like remain calm. I'm fairly, not a lot of people like me. I would say compared to the average debate community, you're pretty good, but you know, there's always room for improvement.
I would agree. I just don't know if the room of improvement is take literally maximal abuse and still just be nice. To be honest, more of my approach would be ending the conversation. I would probably just have a boundary, be like, look, if you can't engage with me well, the issue is it's your show. And I feel like an element of wanting to respect you and making sure that I'm not like leaving your show.
I think, I'm sure Alex is okay. I don't want to speak for him.
No, but I don't think that's a good strategy, Kyla, because even if you do that for the best of reasons, the other person is the optics of that is going to be like, she couldn't handle the smoke, so she left. That will just never, ever go over well. If anything, you're better off going to the other extreme and becoming so condescending that you make the other person leave. But doing that, leaving yourself, that's just like, it's just the optics of it's just going to look like you couldn't handle it and you quit, even if you have like the best of reasons. So I definitely would advocate for that.
I wouldn't say that's true. I've done this multiple times where if somebody won't engage in good faith, I'll be like, hey, I actually want to have a semi-decent faith conversation with you. If you're not willing to do so, at some point, I'm going to end this conversation. And I'll give them heads up and warnings, being like, hey, you're still being really bad faith. If you keep going, I'm going to end this conversation. It's not going anywhere. And then typically I terminate it. I think there are still some people who will be like, you just weasel away. But I think almost every single person watching that conversation, the takeaway would be like, yeah, she gave them their fair shot. They continued to be like kind of a booger eating retard. And so she disconnected the call to not waste her time.
Really, yeah, that's just every time I've ever seen anyone ever quit a debate, the comments on my side have always been like ruthless and relentless.
Because it's usually a rage quit, right? Where they're going to be like, oh, so bad! And then they just like X out.
No, not always. Like when I had Jesse Lee Peterson on, he didn't rage. He just very calmly quit. But, you know, that looked really, really bad on his behalf. He would have been.
Was he being bad faith beforehand?
Was he being bad faith? I wouldn't say he was being bad faith. I wasn't being bad faith either. He was just really, really uncomfortable with the topic I brought up because he's probably guilty of it.
Well, that's a totally different reason to leave than me saying like, please engage well, please engage well, please engage well. This is the consequence. Here's the consequence.
But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying put up with the abuse. I'm not saying just be like this like punching bag that just sits there and like takes it and be like, yeah. I'm saying take a middle ground where you just constantly redirect and call it out. Be like, okay, I'm gonna stop for a second. You're getting to the personal attacks again. Are we gonna be able to have a debate, or you're gonna keep doing personal attacks? Get them to agree to not do personal attacks. Okay, can I have your word before we move forward that you will not engage in any more personal attacks? Okay, cool. Then next time
I think that would have been better for my conversation.
You gave me your word that you're not gonna do personal attacks. Are you a liar? Okay, damn. Might have to redirect.
Yeah, I think doing a couple more redirections first would have been better. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think too, when it comes to like low broing people, it doesn't make sense. Like if you were debating like Andrew from the Crucible, that wouldn't make sense because he can handle himself, right? He's experienced with debates and stuff. But say what you want about him, I think he really has thought through his ideas. I think somebody like maybe Greg or some of the other Black Pill guys, I think it might be better to low bro them in the sense of like maybe not that exact term. I'm not
Do you think as
100%
like
familiar
a
with that.
female who's more left leaning though can little bro them?
Well, I think more so like if you treat them as if, okay, so all right, imagine this is gonna sound really condescending, Greg, but I don't mean it that way, right? But imagine that, if you're debating somebody who's like a child, right? Or let's say like you're having an argument with a child, and then they start calling you names and complaining and stuff, and then you do the same thing back. I mean, I don't think that that's effective. You know what I mean? So you do have to sort of take this level of, I don't know, for lack of a better word, entitlement, I guess, of saying like, yes, I know more than you. That doesn't mean I'm inherently better than you. You can get to my level, but like, I'm going to help get you there.
Yeah,
I just don't think it's productive
Right.
to just start like shitting.
I like what Kevin is saying actually, because I've talked about this. Like, this is why I asked you the question: do you think most people are your intellectual equals? And you said yes, right? Which kind of cuts to the heart of our kind of disagreement in philosophy. But I don't. I think most people are my intellectual inferiors, right? Again, sorry, it is what it is. But
well, hold on.
so
I think you have to be careful with saying that. I think maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I think maybe you're saying like it's not necessarily that they're like way dumber than you, but they don't have the same wisdom as you do or whatever, right? Or do you just genuinely think that they're dumber than you and they can never be on your level?
They potentially could, but the average American is pretty dumb. Like that's just what
true.
it is.
Yeah.
Sorry. But yeah, so basically I treat some people who I consider to not be as smart as me the same way I treat my little nieces and nephews, right? My little nieces and nephews can be like, Alex, you're a booger pants. I'm not going to be like, well, you're a booger pants too. I'm going to be like, that's so cute. Okay, let's it doesn't affect me. So it's like when you adopt that like almost entitlement superiority mindset, it may seem really fucked up and like kind of like I don't know, unattractive, but actually can be very beneficial in terms of your debating because it gives you an extra level of patience for people.
Possibly. I'm getting, so now I'm having people like DMing me privately being like, just a heads up, you actually did redirect multiple times. And I like was kind. So it's like, I'm not sure. I guess here's a question. And I don't want this to sound like a woman claiming woman stuff, but I think we'd probably both agree that like the way that men and women engage, sometimes gender biases come into it, which will be true for me as well towards men probably. Although for me it's more often women. But would you guys agree that exists?
Yeah, but only with certain people. Like with I don't think it was a case with Greg, but I'll just say with some of the other people you've debated, I did think it kind of came out. So depends on the person.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's always there. For example, Allende, I don't think he's actually always sexist. I don't think he's broadly a sexist person. I think he got pissed off and used kind of like sexism as like kind of a weapon a bit against me towards the end. Like making kind of deriding women comments toward the end. To be honest though, here's one thing. I've noticed in debates, I could be wrong. And I'm not going to do like this extreme feminist, like feminazi thing of like, it's just misogyny. The issue is it seems like when I engage with men, for example, if I got paid for every time somebody said that I was triggered when they're pretty obviously equally angry, I'd be rolling in the dough. But it seems like a really classic, like insert you're a woman. So it's like they can't see me having emotions as just somebody who's frustrated. It's classic. See, it's a woman having emotions. That's a really common thing that I experience in this, as well as like, I don't think, for example, that a lot of guys coming in and being like, she's dumb because she's a woman. But if they feel like I'm being dumb, it feels like a lot of times that'll get blamed on like, of course she's dumb. She's a woman, right? Like in many ways, it feels like I am left somewhat essential to my group. And I also stand for all of my group. And so a lot of times in these spaces, while there isn't this like overt sexism coming out, although I will be honest, when people keep making emotionality comments, it feels like if I were a man and doing the exact same thing, nobody would say anything. For example,
I mean,
like,
it still happens to me,
right,
to be honest. I think it depends on what they're. So, for example, people call me like, I saw the chat, they're calling me like a soy boy and stuff for saying this stuff. It's ironic because I'm like a gun-toting libertarian Texan, but all right. So like people will just sort of project whatever, just depending on. And again, I want to say this. I'm not trying to like be this sanctimonious asshole preaching from my soapbox. I'm actually more guilty
I don't feel
of the
that way
things,
at all.
I'm actually more guilty of the things that I'm saying you're doing than you are. I really am. I'm trying to fix it. Yeah, I've been trying to fix it because it's like, yeah, Alex, and I appreciate you, Alex, for pointing it out to me because it's like, yeah, I started to really build contempt for people where I literally just thought like they were just like scum of the earth. And I think the more I think about it, it's just not a productive way of doing it, you know.
So here's the thing that I've realized,
But
because I've
Kyle,
been
can I
thinking
just
about this a
really
lot.
quickly
Yeah,
comment on what you said before?
for sure. For sure.
So you're partially right. There are certain things that you will get within a guy. However, I do think you have to account that as guys, we get certain things that you will not get.
For sure.
Especially when we're debating like feminists. And it's
Yep.
just like this never ending, like, well, you just want to fuck as many girls as possible and take advantage of them at any cost because insert random guy on TikTok who's doing that. Well, that's not me.
Yes.
So we experience that just as much, just for different things.
Totally. But here's the thing. The essentializing is wrong on both sides. Like the feminists who label any guy who disagrees with them incels. Like I experienced this like more often than you guys call me feminazis. A lot of people call me a pick-me, right? Which is essentializing me down to basically you're a stupid woman who disagrees with like girl club, right? And so like any guy who advocates for men's issues will get just dismissed as an incel or like a misogynist. The essentializing is a problem. It's bad. It's stupid. And if you don't like people doing it to your side, don't do it to others.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't, I personally.
For what it's worth, you're definitely not a pick-me. Just Pearly Things is a pick-me for sure.
I don't even know if me and my girlfriend have had this debate about Pearly Things. I don't even know if like when you say, okay, I don't want to open up a can of worms.
I've even got evidence. It's not even just my opinion.
No, she's a straight up grifter. So even before she was like famous, she would try to just come on people's channels that were bigger than her. So mine was at the time. And I remember I left the stream for a second and I let like Coach Whitebill take over. And yeah, she didn't even like fucking know whose channel she was on. She just does anything for clout. She's just the classic clout chaser. If the manosphere started saying like the opposite thing and they started to embrace leftism or whatever, she would go that way.
Yeah.
I do feel like both of you actually, like there's some hate that you can make a really good argument for. Like Kyle is condescending, Kevin's condescending. You can make. I am
condescending. I am condescending. Absolutely. Right. My go-to when I'm annoyed is condescension, which is bad. I'm trying to switch it with aggression because in this space, aggression is respected more than passive aggression.
I don't know if I would switch it with that. It's like it's like two negatives. I don't know. I would switch it with.
Well, the thing is I'm not interested in just being nice to everyone. I'm of the view. This is something I've been wrestling with a fair bit recently, actually with feminists specifically, because I've become so fucking hateful towards some of them. Which is sometimes when the monster comes in the middle of the night to attack and kill your kids, your only response is to attack them back. In the same vein, when somebody is doing something that might be bordering on being like kind of evil, I think your response is like, it's like the coyote in the night. You don't be like, oh, sweet baby, I'll give you a Tweety. Like you'd be like, no, get or I'll fucking shoot you, right? I think there's, even in the intellectual like battlefield, there's a time and place where you get to do that. Where at some point, not only is somebody doing something wrong, right? But they're also trying to tear down something that is good. To me, that is evil. And I think, to be honest, evilness needs to be brutally and ruthlessly shamed out of our society.
But do you really think Greg is evil?
I think what he was doing at certain points is evil. Yeah, I would say, for example, I am probably the best weapon that the manosphere has for feminism because I'm not a grifter, I'm not a pick-me, and I'm actively advocating for men's needs.
Hang on. You don't think it's logical just to conclude that he's a guy who just formed a...
Yeah, but you said this yourself, Kyle. I mean, you called her...
I don't think he's all evil.
I know.
I don't think he's all evil.
You called him a Dunning-Kruger, but this is exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, okay, if he's a Dunning-Kruger, then he probably just doesn't understand the bad things that he's doing, as opposed to somebody like Myron or, I personally like Andrew from the Crucible, but if you think he's, evil or whatever, like there's certain people that have a certain level of competency where I totally would agree with you on, especially content creators that have a large following, debate, and do all those things regularly. But then, especially if there's somebody who you think suffers from the Dunning-Kruger effect, then I don't think you applying that same tactic makes sense.
Yeah.
Can somebody be ignorant and still do evil?
Absolutely. But I think it's like Hanlon's razor, right? Don't attribute to malice what you could attribute to ignorance.
So in the case of Greg,
if that's the case, I don't think you should handle it the same way.
I don't think Greg is evil. I don't think Greg is evil. I think he's a retard. I think he's stupid. I just think he doesn't know anything.
I
Well,
don't know
that's
if
where the
that's fair
contempt
either.
part comes in, man.
I think, yeah, this is Kyla. This is kind of like how you get into like the. I mean, if you don't give a shit about like public perception, then it doesn't matter. Then this is a mute conversation. But if you do care, like this is kind of how you get into that. It's like you're smart. You're a smart girl. I know you're fucking smart. You know that he's not evil. Is he dumb? He was kind of dumb in this conversation, but overall, he's not dumb. He's average intelligence, or slightly above average intelligence. He's not an idiot. But
was he able to keep up with me at all with the conversation?
In this
No,
specific
he
example?
wasn't. But do you think that
So
he
was
has
a
the
retard?
ability to? No,
Possibly. I have no idea.
But can someone be dumb in one moment and be overall like average or above average intelligence?
Yeah, but I'm also going to call them a retard when they're being a retard. Like I'm also going to call them stupid.
Yeah, I just think
again, look, I can't judge you too much for that because that's what I've done my entire YouTube career, and I'm starting to regret it. I just don't think it's an effective method anymore. I can't tell you what to do, but yeah,
I hear that. I will definitely take it into consideration. And there are absolutely people that I would love to kill with kindness. The issue is Greg reads to me as somebody who probably needs to be embarrassed a little bit more about some of the ways that he interacted with me, and probably hugged and loved on by certain people as well to like encourage him to grow. I think both of these things
me
are
and
true.
Alex. Me and Alex.
Embarrassment never helps anyone grow. It only
That's not true. That is not true. Absolutely not true. If you think about this, is what Kevin said. He looks back and he's a bit embarrassed about it. Embarrassment is effective. It does help you grow because if you're mortified about your own actions, you're very motivated to not do them again. Greg should be mortified about this conversation. Unironically mortified.
I just think it's as simple as that. Is that Greg has created a perception of you that's not really based in reality, and he has created a straw man version of Kyla, right?
Yes, which is bad faith, which is one thing. But here's the thing.
I don't think
Beyond
he did it
that,
on purpose, though.
I don't care.
But I think that matters, though.
Not
don't
entirely.
you think,
it doesn't.
okay, so
ignorance is not an excuse.
I get that, but I think don't you think it's a more effective path to try to train people out of their ignorance rather than just label them as like evil?
Sorry, I got distracted by Ashley's comment on the side.
No, it's okay.
I'm so sorry.
So don't you think it's a more effective strategy to like if you somebody to be ignorant, more so try to train them out of their ignorance rather than calling them evil and then having them build resentment towards you? Again,
I don't think Greg was evil. Sorry. I realized that it seemed like I was connecting those. I apologize. I really genuinely don't think Greg is evil in any way.
Okay. No.
So I wanted to fully disentangle this thing. I just think he was stupid.
No, I get that. All I'm saying is I think people who you consider to be sort of on your level or maybe even higher, you're more justified in treating them that way of like, oh, you know exactly what you're doing. Right. And I'm going to punish you for that and call you out on it. So this is why, like Alex and I, for example, we're very harsh on guys like Myron Gaines because he's a very smart guy. He knows exactly what he's doing. Same with Rollo Tomasi, right? But then with viewers, again, this is where I screwed up. I brought that same energy to the viewers, who I'm not saying that they're inherently dumber than Myron or Rollo. I just think that they're less educated. Maybe they haven't spent as much time really thinking through this stuff and they're acting more on emotion. I think it's just more effective for those types of people. This is why I agree with what Alex said. It's like, I think it's okay to acknowledge, yes, I am more well-informed. I'm smarter than you, the person I'm speaking to. And I don't think it's condescending to lil bro them if you're objectively like above their level currently, right? As opposed to if you're, it is condescending if you're doing that towards somebody who is on your level. Right? So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Kevin nailed my philosophy completely. Kyle,
I think here's the best criticism. I think that when I get defensive, I can come off looking a little bit wishy-washy. And it doesn't matter like how retarded the criticism is. When I get really defensive, I can get kind of wishy-washy, which validates the criticism in their mind. I think that's the best one. I don't know about the meanness stuff. I'll need to think about it more. But I've waffled between these two options quite a bit. And I'm just... here's the thing. If Greg came to me and he was like, hey, I'm actually feeling really insecure about that. I would actually just feel bad, and I would fully empathize with him, which is maybe like a difference. I'm a very high compassion person. The issue is, I think Greg is smart enough to know better. I genuinely think he is. He doesn't read to me as so dumb. So like if I thought I was dealing with somebody with like an intellectual disability, no, I would not engage in this way. But if you're of any normal level IQ, I actually do think you're smart enough to engage. You know better.
Fair.
Yeah. My final thoughts. Clearly, Kyla, you're intelligent. You're articulate. You can form your thoughts. You can articulate your thoughts. So the question is like, why does the audience not overwhelmingly love you, right? Or at least not your audience. And like, again, I think that has to go back to the optics, right? That's like, I think the one department where you're lacking. It's not on your like debate skills, it's not on your logic skills. It's on the optics of the debate. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents.
I think people hate Kyla the same reason why they hate me.
Well,
because
it's the same issue for you, optics.
But I would say optics, it's intention too, because I think it's not everybody in the audience, but I think unconsciously a lot of them think that I have contempt for them, and I did, and I'm trying not to. But,
well, with you, there's an extra level because they think there's a conspiracy where you're like puppet mastering me behind the scenes and like trying to get me to like do shit for you.
I am.
Which
you just don't know it. You just don't know it.
Oh shit!
So maybe that's where we differ. I don't have contempt for the audience. I think Alex's chat is hilarious. I have no contempt towards them. I think Greg is stupid. He could not keep up with the conversation, and in his ignorance and stupidity, he was levying some pretty serious criticisms with no meat behind it.
Wait, you just said you thought he was smart.
He was very stupid in this conversation. It's possible he's smart outside of, like, it's possible that his emotions just got in the way, but he literally did not keep up with this. He wasn't tracking what was happening in this conversation. It's possible that's emotions. It's possible that in other conversations, you're saying that outside of this, he shows better. So I'm willing to grant that perhaps outside of this, he's smarter. In this conversation, he was not even kind of keeping up.
He was in his own universe, that's for sure. It felt like he was playing a character to me, honestly. That's the vibe I got. Yo, are you guys down to stay on for 20 minutes, or do you want to wrap up? Someone gave me a $30 super chat to have Looks for L on, but I know how
I think that was Greg.
I think Ashley was really wanting to talk to me. I know she's.
Yeah, I think Ashley and Erudite, that'd be a good conversation. Have you guys talked before?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay. Do you mind if I bring them both on?
I don't want to talk to Looks for L at all.
Okay,
This is another guy who does not keep up with conversations. It's like, I am not going to keep like wasting my time.
Okay, fair enough. Sorry, Looks. Whoever sent me the super chat, I don't know.
I think it's Greg.
Is there a way I can like give super chats back? I feel bad. But you know, I'm not gonna bring on someone that the guest doesn't want on. But yeah, sorry.
Greg, you just got to get your channel to 1,000 subs, and then Alice can super chat you back.
Hey, good evening, everybody.
What's going on?
Good evening, Erudite. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm good. I wanted to say a few things before I ask my question, if that's okay. Actually, to be quite honest, I am familiar with you here on Alex's show. I've watched a little bit of you on your own channel. It's quite a different dynamic, and I'm not as into it, but I do enjoy watching you on here because I'm not going to lie, like I've absolutely just hated you, you know, but tonight, I hated you all night long. And then in about the last 30 minutes or so, you said some things that made me actually very much so relate to you. And I saw you differently than I've ever seen you before. And that's what spurred my curiosity of wanting to ask you legitimately a question, is that have you spent much time, and I don't mean this as a loaded question because I've thought about this for a while watching you on here, but tonight I feel differently. Have you spent much time actually watching much of the Manosphere content?
I would say probably not as much as like, probably the main content I consume is like nerd shit. But I try to consume like like Dr. Huberman podcast and like
That's
Stanford
not
lectures.
Manosphere. That's not Manosphere.
No, I know. I said probably not. I think I spend most of the time watching nerd shit, which
My
was the stuff I
apologies.
listed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. And so I watch a bit of it. I could definitely probably watch more. But I've watched a fair bit of it to be decently grounded in like the main ideas.
So you're an intelligent woman. Why would you think I'd be asking you this question?
I'd rather you just ask your questions. I'm not
So
sure precisely. I'm going to guess. I could guess, but I'd rather just get to like.
Oh, I was giving you the opportunity to guess, but if you don't want to, I can explain. It's fine. I'm just saying. I know you're smart, and I know you know where I'm going with this. So, for the audience, where I'm going with this is that how do you base the way that you talk to men on this show? Like what experience do you base that off of, besides your own personal experience or elsewhere?
How do I base how I talk to the men on the show?
Yes, and how you come to the conclusions that you do, like you did tonight, with the way you talk about them and the way you talk to them.
About Greg specifically, like individuals. So the way I talk
Specifically tonight, but also in the past.
So
you
the way
admitted earlier that you've been condescending in the past, so that's where I'm. Yeah, just so we're clear. Yeah.
So my exposure with men is pretty large. I spend a lot of time advocating for men's need and men's mental health. I spend a lot of time debating feminists and lefties about men's stuff. When it comes to how I talk about men in general, it tends to be decently empathetic. I have some criticisms for men, but it's decently empathetic. And then with specific interlocutors, I can be pretty nasty about some of them, and some of them I tend to have higher empathy for. Depends on the person I'm talking about. So Greg, I'm being mostly mean. Looks for L, I'm just exclusively mean about. Allende, I would say I'm mixed, right? I can like recognize, I think some stuff
I
that's
relate
going
with
on.
you. Looks for L, I have been very rude about as well. Allende and I have also had a not so pleasant encounter. So
can I check with you? So some content creators, so some of my biggest content creators I consume that I don't know if you consider manosphere would be people like Roma Navy. I've watched a lot of Pearly. I've watched a fair bit of Kevin Samuels, Sneeko. I've watched multiple interviews with Andrew Tate. I always watch Abba and Preach. And I consumed a shitload of Jordan Peterson as well in the past. So I'm not sure who of these you consider manosphere specifically.
Of the ones that you said, they're all kind of, I think, different chapters in the manosphere. You're based on that. Absolutely. Pearly things I hate. Sneeko cannot stand. Anyone from Fresh and Fit can suck my metaphorical dick. But I do find a lot of helpful bits of pearls of wisdom, so to speak, from the other creators you just mentioned. Would you agree on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Some of them I just really like for the most part.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Jesus Christ, Kevin Samuels was quite based in a lot of things he said. I've enjoyed that. I think that I just think that these are the big booms, right? But I know that you stream a lot because I see you. You know, I see you. I've told you I've watched your stream before, just in and of itself. You have a lot of followers, and you stream a lot and you talk. But that time, sometimes maybe I challenge you to this: spend maybe 6 hours a week. I know that's a lot, but I mean, you've really got to, invest a little time and actually go into these, deep, dark corners of the manosphere and hang out in their chats and listen to what the fuck they're talking about. And you'll understand these guys you're debating and talking to so much better.
Okay, so of all the people I listed, these are insufficient. You want me to watch like other content creators? I've watched a fair bit of Kevin's stuff. I watched some of Alex's stuff. Is there somebody specific that's coming to mind that I should be watching? I've watched Hasm.
I addressed that. I said that these are the main, big winners, so to speak, quote unquote. But I said go into the deep dark corner. So
I'm not deflecting. I'm asking you who.
I think more Alex stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what I was going to tell you is what I did was I started watching Alex's content. I started making friends with people in the chat, not just coming on to, stream and hear myself talk. And I started actually going to these people's channels And then from there, moving on. Go watch some weird shit, man. I got some weird shit for you. Go watch The Guy Bro. Go watch Black v Silver.
Oh, wait. Black v Silver is the one that made that hit piece on you, Kyla. I think you'd actually find it. If you like Greg's video.
Oh, he did. He made one on you. That's fucking right, dude.
He made one on me too. So yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh,
I think you should watch that, Kyla. Yeah. I think you should watch that, Kyla. If you like Greg's, his is like way more like well produced, and it's interesting.
By the way, I just want to add, I disagree with the idea that Allende or Lux Farrell is bad faith. I don't actually think they're substantially bad faith, but go ahead, keep going.
Yes, Alex's channel. We do not think they're substantially bad faith. Thank you.
Just my opinion.
No, I know.
Okay.
I didn't say Allende was bad faith, though, to clear up. I just said that I had an argument with him, and I also had words, is basically all I said.
So what I'm hearing is all of you, at least Ashley, feel that I'm missing some important greater context for the manosphere. That might, if I watched, elucidate some of my like frustrations and maybe make me have more empathy and not feel as like disdainful
sort of.
for
You
some men.
Quite a bit. You self-project quite a bit. The advice I'm giving you is actually just completely like just humbled, like, hey, do this and figure it out for yourself kind of advice. You're self-projecting and putting words in my mouth of what I did not say. So that shows me that what I'm telling you is actually giving you these insights into yourself.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, I honestly said this in good faith. I asked Alex privately earlier, hey, can I have her contact info? I want to give her some links. I just don't want to loud a bunch of people out online, but there's some things I'd like you to watch, is all I'm saying. Because I think you're incredibly smart. And tonight, the things you were saying at that last 30 minutes before I hopped on, I feel you, girl. I feel you so hard. But you're not going about it the right way.
So, okay, I think I'm understanding you, that you're recommending that I watch a number of channels, and it sounds like you're even willing to supply me with the links, which I'm totally open to doing.
Yes, ma'am. I think that's a good start. And I too have been a little bit condescending, and I apologize for that. I recognized it just now. No, really, I do, because I do respect you. You're very intelligent. I've enjoyed this conversation tonight, and I appreciate your curiosity.
All righty. Do you have anything else you want to add, Ashley?
No, I just really enjoyed this tonight. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, for sure.
Kyla, thank you for talking to me.
For sure. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. All right. Good night.
All right. Take care. All right. Cool. I think we should wrap up. We're going on 3.5 hours. Closing thoughts, people.
Well, those are fun debates. What was that first guy's name again? The scooter guy?
BMAC.
BMAC. All right. I'm looking forward to the competition between. There were all these competitions that were supposed to happen that never happened.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's interesting, but yeah, I hope it does. I think that'd be kind of cool within the space if we have like that sort of like keys to the VIP type competition thing, have these dating coaches or people who think they're good at pickup or whatever, just put their money where their mouth is,
Let me just address this. Like, dude, what do you want me to do? Hey, do you mind if we have this person on? No, I don't want to. Okay, let me have them on anyway. Like, this is standard protocol. Whenever I have guests on, I ask them if they're cool if I bring in the other person. So, like, yeah. Anyway. Okay, cool. Closing thoughts?
No. My dog is playing with a water bottle. No, I don't have anything to say publicly at this point.
Okay.
All right, word. Yeah, that was fun. Tomorrow we're going to do another round of speed dating. Make sure you guys tune in for that, 9 p.m. We got a good group of girls. Bah, I don't know why I'm struggling with my words. But yeah, should be fun, so tune in for that. Wednesday, we're going to have most likely the Greg versus Coach Whitebill debate, but we'll see either Wednesday or Thursday. It's going to be a good time. I appreciate y'all. Have a good night, everybody. Until next time.